love that it just fires at random it does that.
Yeah, it shoots at like any targets within 100 meters. It's wild. Okay, cool. It's already
Oh,
marked.
can we stop at Dairy Queen?
No, there's no Dairy Queen. You have
But I
Dairy
need
Queen
ice
money?
cream for my A&W.
Oh god.
Oh, great.
Thank you.
Howdy, howdy, everybody. The fudge, man. There we go. There I am. Look at me. Yippee. Put me right there. Slide that down there. I'm gonna put on some YouTube.
This time he's gone to Yale University.
You guys can let me know if it's too loud for you or whatever. I'm gonna turn off the music for this. But we're gonna play let me dim that. There we go.
He starts off his speech making a joke about threatening to murder a US senator.
Okay, so this is why I'm watching this video, is because I'm gonna be like probably pausing it pretty often to be like, hey, what he's saying here isn't accurate. Let me make sure. Should turn that up soon.
Evil America is and how defeating
Sure
the Nazis
okay.
was actually.
Yeah, I just had to do a sound check there. Yeah, we're probably gonna be arguing. I am probably gonna be arguing with the video quite a bit.
A bad thing? Bruh, he's now doubling down on his statement supporting the USSR and Joseph Stalin. 20 million people killed, by the way. Absolutely insane. He admits they were a ruthless authoritarian dictatorship, but somehow justifies it, saying that it's better than American outcomes. He then quotes another one of his favorite people, Chairman Mao. A student absolutely destroys Hassan. Mr. Beast is being called out by streamers Jinxie and XQC for his previous awkward Team Water stream, where he was
this is a good
streamers
one.
into donating. Subscribe or you gotta attend a Hassan Piker speech in person.
I'm just gonna play on normal. I'm not gonna pretend that I'm like amazing.
Now let's begin. Right, so Hassan is continuing his campaign to appeal to the youth, going to colleges to give his classic Diddy Piker speeches. So in case you missed last time, he basically went to Stanford University and he was crying because they reduced his venue size.
This literally was a 1,000 person venue that was fucking sold out. They swapped it to a 350 person venue instead.
He was also introduced by a guy with criminal charges, and he was a big fan of Hassan, of course.
I myself am one of 11 students and alumni of Stanford University who are currently facing 3 years in prison on 2 felony counts for sitting at the university president's office in 2024.
Well, that brings us to today. He's now at Yale University, another Ivy League school, and he's debating the end of the American empire. Interesting. So Hassan is obviously on the anti-America side, the pro-terrorist side, the pro-communism side, and he's glazing a bunch of dictators here.
Currently on our way to Yale Union, where we are going to be participating.
Is that all good for you guys? You guys able to see that very well?
Ending the American empire. It's a resolution.
Quite contentious, it seems, that there were a lot of people that didn't want me to come here today and speak to all of you. That's right. I know what that means now.
Right, so basically they are hissing, which is kind of like booing the guy on stage. In SpongeBob terms, this would be like throwing rotten tomatoes at them, right? And I mean, it totally fits because Hassan is a snake. Even XQC's chat calls him Hassan. So yeah, you know, shout out to the few people with common sense there. Although a lot of them are surrounded by idiots, unfortunately. So anyways, he decides to start his speech, instantly making a joke about Rick Scott, a senator and political opponent of his that you might remember.
If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott. I'm especially sad that Senator Rick Scott couldn't make it.
So he at the beginning of this video, he tried to like pose that as like a threat on his life, that like he had threatened to kill that man. And like, no, he didn't. Like, let's be fair and honest. No, he didn't. It was not. It just wasn't. It wasn't what you're trying to make it, and you know it wasn't. And it's super disingenuous that Pegasus tries to play it as if it is. It's a little frustrating, not gonna lie, because I feel like Pegasus is better than that. You know, he shouldn't have to stoop to bad faith arguments. You don't need them to make Hassan look bad.
You get it, guys, because Hassan threatened to murder him.
No, he didn't.
That's the joke. That's the funny, that Hassan issues death threats regularly.
That was not
That's
a death
the funny
threat.
Part. Isn't that peak comedy, guys?
It was in no.
So
What
again,
he
let's
did was
just
in
reiterate,
no
right?
way a death
Hassan
threat.
has the audacity to call half of America terrorists, as he was doing last video, when he's out here issuing death threats and just laughing about the situation here without an apology at all. And obviously Hassan never does anything himself, right? Some insane person in his audience actually takes action on behalf of him, and then Hassan just walks free.
When
Of
has that
course,
ever
in a
happened?
previous video we also unearthed that he actually threatened Charlie Kirk's life as well, and then a couple years later he happened to get assassinated. No connection there, just saying that
That's such a
hey,
weird thing to
Hassan
point
threatens
out.
to murder someone, and then that person ends up dying. And obviously there's no one-to-one connection. There probably never will be.
If there was
because
no
this is
one-to-one
how Hassan
connection, why would you
slides
point
by
it out
with this
though? You
dangerous
get what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about, like the bad faith argument. If there's no one-to-one argument, why are you bringing it up? And he's bringing it up to essentially to push forward a bad faith narrative. Like, he knows what he's saying is in bad faith. He's doing it anyway because he doesn't care.
rhetoric, right? He just says this violent, unhinged shit. He keeps escalating, and then he just jokes about it. And I find it interesting that he's having a debate here at Yale, because when he loses a debate, he literally threatens to murder the other person. So I wonder what he's gonna say to these students here. So then, like a classic comedian, you know, recycling
I don't know if
his
he
jokes,
threatens to
Hassan here
murder
does his
people when they
classic
disagree.
spiel,
That's not.
talks about how shit America is and gets some claps.
I'm sure you had many opinions on whether or not we should end the U.S. empire and the global capitalist system, which is what I will be talking about today. And then your grandparents are probably going to hear about it on Fox News tomorrow. But it's an interesting resolution. End the U.S. empire. It's interesting because how do you end something that's already in the process of dying? Because that's the situation with the American empire as it stands today. But the United States, fueled by anti-communist fervor, turned against its former ally, the Soviet Union. This next phase of the American empire was structured as a world competition between Washington and Moscow. Everywhere the United States looked, it found communists under the floorboards, under the beds, both real and imagined. And naturally, this anti-communist struggle went hand in hand with American imperial interest.
Yeah.
The communists did kill a lot of people, though. Like, that's one thing you're not gonna get from me, is some kind of bullshit lie about how, like, oh, communism always works. It doesn't, because people are awful. There are always gonna be awful people who try to screw it up, and as a result, I personally don't believe in the possibility of like a proper like communist state or whatever. I just don't think we have the capability of being that kind and truthful with each other. I think there will always be somebody who wants more, and as long as there are people who want more, there will have to be people who get less.
I mean, hilarious. So Hassan talks about hallucinating communism when these regimes were obviously communist, openly communist. And I find it interesting he's talking about hallucination when this guy's...
Hassan was not talking about hallucinating communist regimes. He was talking about hallucinating communist insurgents within the American border. That's pretty obvious that that's what he was pointing towards. Please Please, please, Pegasus, stop making me correct you to defend Hassan. I hate being on this side. Just do better.
Sees Israel in his cereal and in his walls. Brother, you blamed shocking
That do
your
be
dog
true.
on Israel.
See, there you
blame
go.
random peanut VTubers making fun of you, saying they're made in an Israeli lab.
Bro, this is the number one streamer of Israel.
I still think that was kind of
Israel's
funny.
finest.
You're an absolute fucking clown who is always projecting. Every single word out of his mouth is insane projection. And you know, I'm at least glad that unlike some of the other universities, at least there's a mix of hisses and claps here. I mean, this is a debate, so I understand that there's people that will be disagreeing with him. That's at least a good start, except we know that Hassan is not going to be listening to them at all, right? Goes in one ear and out the other.
I don't want to
He's
chop down
basically
trees over
only
here because
there
this
to
looks like a
recruit more
great
people
place to
his
be like
cult. And you
a
guys
tree
actually
grove.
let me know that these other universities also have a bunch of people that don't like him. They just don't show up to the speech, right? Which is understandable. Like, I probably wouldn't
Weed
show up to
farmers
West
needs
Side
to be at the
speech,
top
right? I mean,
along
you
with
probably have
temple
better things to do.
workers.
I'd probably look it up for
I'd
content
really
for my
like the
YouTube
quarry
channel, but
guys
that's
to
about
get
it.
working,
So
but
then he talks about the many evils of America and then proceeds to glaze a bunch of, like, communist dictatorships.
From Europe to East Asia, the interests of our investors and our corporations were protected, and protected unconditionally, mind you. And rather than start converting our swords into plowshares, at the end of World War II, we dropped atom bombs, 2 of them to be exact, to show the rest of the world that we had that capacity
He's not wrong.
to change the tides of history in an irreparable manner. We helped out Nazi and Japanese war criminals. We became the monsters that we had supposedly vanquished. What Americans call the Cold War, was, to most of the people on the planet, an endless series of butcheries, each more perverse and more tragic than the last.
Yeah, you know, Hassan, you would actually have a point if you were remotely consistent at all, right? You can criticize, like, the intervention.
So this is where he tries to argue against a good thing that Hassan says by saying like, oh, but you've said this before, when that really doesn't matter to the sanctity of this debate. If you're debating, you don't debate from the position of here's everything I've ever said. You debate from the position of this is what I am, this is my side, and this is your side, and now we're going to argue back and forth. So this is drivel.
America does. You can talk about the evils and dropping bombs and how bad war is and everything. The only thing is, it only makes sense if you denounce evils in other places too. But when it comes to all these communist dictatorships, Hassan...
While I agree that Hassan absolutely ignores the evils of communist dictators, it once again has nothing to do with the debate that he's having. So it's just doesn't make sense to me.
basically just hand waves them, right? He goes, well, actually, they're doing a great job, which is why I'm going on a humanitarian mission here, obviously. The thing is, if Hassan actually cared about civilians dying, he would first and foremost, before anything, condemn the terrorist groups that he loves so much. So when I hear all this talk by Hassan going, oh yeah, America is so bad, they're so evil, they're the most evil regime apparently, they're a terrorist organization, I'm really just waiting for him to be consistent, right? To show that he actually does care about oppression, because you can criticize a bunch of things, but it's a complete scapegoat for Hassan. It's a complete lie. It's basically a means of deflection, right? And the one thing you'll never do is honest comparisons, right? This is the guy who tries to say that North Korea is not a dictatorship. The guy who glazes the USSR, as we'll get to in a second as well. You know, 10 to 20 million people dying, completely hand wave. And I find it interesting, you see a guy who makes a tweet and immediately say, this person Hitler, but then when there are these dictators legitimately who have already killed, this isn't a tweet or anything, they've already killed tens of millions of people, those are hand wave. I just don't understand, like, you have to be consistent there.
We're gonna need
You know,
charcoal.
the more I see Hassan in these sort of settings, I have a feeling that he might actually try to run for office later in his life, like actually try to become a politician, potentially America's next dictator, like straight up. Now, he always says that he has no political aspirations, right? For now. But I think it's a bait and switch, right? Trying to get people to leave him alone while he quietly...
Weird parasocial rant here. What do you mean that's what you think? This is a weird parasocial rant.
Builds up this cultish army and tries to basically destroy the entire world. It's unironically Hassan the cartoon villain's plan, which will never come to fruition, obviously, but like, he's comically evil. So then Hassan implies that defeating the
He's comically evil is a wild thing to say about, like, Hassan Piker when, like, actual comic book villains exist in our world. But, I mean, I would say Hassan is, like, a comic book level of incompetent in a lot of the things he does because he goes on stream live and throws a fit all the time, which is just lolcow behavior.
was a bad thing, right? Because America bad, I guess. So the guy calling everybody Nazis is an insult, right? Zionist Nazis, actually, right? He is now playing defense for Nazis. I mean, we shouldn't really be surprised. We all know what he thinks about Jewish people.
Packed to the fucking gills with the most inbred, uneducated, ultra-nationalist, rabid, Haredi population.
What was the point of defeating the Nazis if we went on to dominate so much of the globe as violently as we have? Was the point of all of it so that we could have the rest of the world to ourselves? The war that began in 1939 ended. But in the ideological dialogue between the two worlds and two leaders, Roosevelt lost the war. The real victor was Adolf Hitler. It is my personal opinion that the contemporary world is moved by the ideas that served as the foundation on which Hitler rose to power. 70 years later, I think history has proven Arevalo right. In place after place, time after time, the United States can never settle down its imperial bloodlust, this forever hunt for manifest destiny. We can draw a straight line from indigenous massacres of the early United States to the 20th century, killing fields that we have created in the Third World.
Of course, you know,
True
I
shit.
guess
I mean, he's
America
not
shouldn't
wrong.
have defeated the Nazis. They should have let them win, actually.
Love how that's the only part of that he bothered to comment on. Did you notice that? How there was the part about like genociding natives, and Pegasus is just like ignoring that, because having to address that and stand against it would make him look like a monster. But he does disagree with Hassan so much that he is willing to attack even the good arguments, which just makes his bad arguments worse.
I mean, they do share an ideology with Hassan and his terrorist buddies, right? Both extremely anti-Semitic, right? I mean, I imagine in the multiverse, in an alternate timeline, Hassan is like this president, right? Evil dictator or whatever. Sneeko is his right-hand man. Truly the darkest timeline ever. We gotta make sure that doesn't happen in our reality by spreading the message that Hassan is a colossal regard. Also, just a side note, but the hissing crowd is—
Be a man, say retard. If that's what you mean, say it. Like, be an adult. Why are you, like, babying around it? You wanna call him a retard? Call him a retard. Calling him a regard isn't any better. You're still saying it.
is really dedicated. Like,
Fucking pussy.
they did it the entire speech. They didn't even stop at all. And I will say it is annoying as hell, but to be honest, so are the flippin' clappers who glaze him after every 5 words. So I guess in that sense, it's warranted. By the way, who decided this stupid ass like debate culture where you clap after every line or something? Like, just wait till the end of the speech or something. It's so annoying. Like, I never get it. Anyways, moving on to the main part here where Hassan talks about the USSR. And this is the part that's going viral on Twitter. So, remember a while back, Hassan said that it's unfortunate that America defeated the USSR? Obviously, because he's pro-communism, he's pro-dictators, pro-Stalin, of course.
We are in the heart of the imperial core. This is the country that defeated the USSR, unfortunately.
Well, so now he addresses that clip, and in classic Diddy Piker fashion, he doubles down, right? So he could have said, it was in the heat of the moment, it was a mistake, I didn't mean it, right? But this guy's so unhinged. Bro's like, Hitler bad, but Stalin though, big fan actually. Hassan explains why the fall of the USSR was one of the greatest catastrophes of the 20th century at his Yale speech.
It's Zoran Mamdani's election victory night party.
Ew, why would you even mention that? That's so weird.
By a media outlet where I said, we defeated the USSR and the USSR dissolved, unfortunately. This was quite the controversial statement at the time. Fox News still loves repeating this soundbite. And some Democrats also channel that frustration as well. They say, how dare you, Hassan? The USSR was our enemy. They were ruthless, authoritarian. The fall of the USSR was one of the greatest catastrophes of the 20th century. Just wait, listen, maybe you'll agree.
Okay, hold up. So before we hear the reasoning here, right? Let me just make it clear. Hassan is doubling down here, despite admitting and acknowledging that they were a ruthless authoritarian dictatorship. He isn't even denying that they were bad, right? You know, when he was talking about North Korea in the past...
Did you know, watch it, how quick did he flip there? Wasn't he just denying and downplaying how bad everybody was, but now he admits it?
He would say that, no, Western leaders are infinitely worse, right? He would try to...
Well, considering we're able to continuously do it, like, Western leaders get to get away with it. I mean, maybe it's just because America's been better at keeping it secret, but yeah, we've done some crazy awful stuff as a nation, not like we the people, but like our government has done some wild stuff, man. Aren't you from like Singapore? So why are you always talking on this political stuff now that you know nothing about? There's gotta be a better locale to go after, where you can actually talk about shit you know about. You know, let's find a different video. I don't want to listen to him anymore. Oh, let's watch this.
Pranksters are possibly one of the most reviled groups on the entire...
For the record, this is the gamer from Mars. We are gonna hit him with a like.
Internet. With massive YouTubers like H3 Productions getting their start by covering the antics of these individuals.
Yo, please, go ahead. You savages! Can you not take a joke? Am I not human? Am I not entitled to tell a joke in the form of physical assault?
Even today, there's no shortage of cloud-hungry streamers getting called out for harassing innocent bystanders and being a general nuisance to society. While all of these loathed influencers have different motivations, the one thing they all have in common is their desire to draw as much attention to themselves in a desperate attempt to gain fame and fortune. But there is one corrupted individual in this niche who doesn't seem to have these motivations at all. With that person being none other than the infamous troll Frank Castle.
He said he was gonna shoot me. Come on, you
Come
See,
on.
what's the deal? Are people allowed to threaten to shoot people at the mall? This guy was stealing and doing gay stuff to people. I just want to wipe you down, man. You're sweaty.
From almost getting arrested numerous times to being banned from YouTube entirely, it seems that Frank harasses people purely for comedic purposes, constantly pushing things to the extreme and overstepping every single line imaginable in the process. While other pranksters filmed under the guise of making social experiments or lighthearted goofs, Frank embraced the negative stereotypes, which was refreshing in the oddest of ways. He deconstructed the genre down to its purest form, revealing how cruel messing with people just trying to live their lives truly could be. Whether he has done this intentionally is another question, and regardless, in the process, he has become reviled. Most creators who do what Frank does are unequivocally shunned by the broader internet. But Frank is unique in the sense that he is seemingly just as beloved by his fan base as he is hated by his detractors. Despite this infamy though, nobody seems to have taken the time or effort to give a comprehensive breakdown of his wildest moments, or even how he got to where he is now. After watching through hours of his content as well as interviews, I stumbled across a lot
Everybody's
of
so fucking hungry. Wow.
He is more
What the fuck is up with the color right now?
Shot at by Boogie. But before we explain his most infamous encounters, we have to delve into this villain's origin story. But before we go any further in today's video, I just want to give a shout out to my sponsor, Morgan & Morgan. America's
God
largest
damn
personal injury
it.
law firm. I'm sure everyone has seen the headlines of a person being hit by a car and receiving a multi-million-dollar settlement due to the negligence on the driver's part. But what you might not think about are the teams behind the wronged that fight to get them the compensation they deserve, such as Morgan & Morgan. Sure, there are plenty of law firms out there that will advertise.
Okay, I don't get paid by Morgan & Morgan.
Into rage quitting.
Let's learn
Frank's
about Frank
content
Castle.
fell in line with what you would expect from the era.
He's got a kit. Is he defusing it? No, he's not defusing it. He's just sitting there watching the fucking thing. Oh my fucking god, dude.
This would eventually lead to a revelation. Why stick to trolling people in video games when you could bring it into the real world?
It got to a point where it was like maybe I could do this in real life.
While he was notable within a small niche, Frank was a relatively unknown figure in the broader online community. But this would change after he decided to prank a local news outlet. You see, in 2015, a man named Vester Lee Flanagan gunned down and murdered 2 journalists after being fired from his job at the news station they worked at. While most looked at the situation as a tragedy, Frank saw an opportunity. After getting in contact with the news station WSB-TV, he wildly claimed Vester was a member of his online gaming group called Gamergate, using photoshopped screenshots to prove his legitimacy to the unsuspecting reporter.
Gamer, do you want to play CSGO? Flanagan, not right now, I'm kinda out of it. Gamer, why? Flanagan, I can't get WDBJ out of my mind. I have a strong dislike of those people. Gamer, dude, we've talked about this before. Just let it go. It's not a big deal.
His story was apparently so convincing that he even managed to secure an interview with the station where he continued to spew even more blatant lies.
There's also this other guy who frequently bullied Bryce, I guess is the right way to say it. His name was Sam Hyde. He was a member of an online group called $1 Million Extreme.
The story was uploaded online soon after and quickly garnered attention due to the sheer ridiculousness of it. It was obvious the news station wanted to be the first ones to get their hands on a new piece of information nobody else had, but had unwittingly fallen into the hands of an internet troll.
She thought she had like the story of the century, like,
right.
Wow, this is gonna make my career or whatever.
Yeah, now
And
she
it's
probably
like,
works in
oh.
a brothel.
Yeah, yeah.
She's been
Now
shamed out of the industry.
Now she's doing stories about like the water skiing squirrel or whatever.
It highlighted the disconnect between traditional media and internet culture, and even ended up catching the attention of Sam Hyde himself. The comedian was so impressed by the stunt that he offered Frank the gig of a lifetime. He would pay him to film himself hassling people in public, incorporating the pranks into his Gumroad exclusive show.
That'll get that water at least.
Frank also ended up doing various other odd things for him.
I ran the MDE Twitter account before it got banned for anti-Semitic comments that weren't posted by myself.
It was like years later. I did like a lot of like administrative work for him, and I like answered like fan mail and shit.
After moving to Providence, Rhode Island to work with the MDE team, he began filming various stunts over the next few years. One infamous example of this is when he went Christmas caroling alongside Sam himself.
Oh my god, stop whining about food.
Why?
Because I don't think you guys can sing.
Another notable bit was when he harassed the employees of yet another local news outlet, only identifying himself as Chad King.
Can I team up with this old bald fellow over here?
Alright, buddy, I'm building it right now.
This is a pseudonym that Frank often uses during his hassles, being derived from the fact that he is the self-proclaimed king of the Chads. This would continue for a while, with Frank seemingly enjoying getting paid to do what he did best, hassling unsuspecting bystanders.
Fuck, dude, why are people dying of hunger? We should have so much food.
Of the footage Frank shot, meaning he was sitting upon hours and hours of unedited content that would never see the light of day. This would change when his exclusivity contract with $1 Million Extreme ended, with him now being free to use the raw footage in any way he saw fit. Seeing an opportunity, Frank started uploading to his YouTube channel more regularly in early 2020. Most of these were longer versions of previous hassles that included never-before-seen footage, now being edited by people he commissioned himself.
My bad,
In
dog,
light of
my
the
bad.
COVID pandemic, he also began posting online hassles, where he would troll the participants of Zoom meetings as well as random streamers.
You know what helps me wake up? Is hardcore gay pornography.
Oh.
Hardcore gay helps me wake up.
I'm in LA, just chilling out, trying to have a really
Very
good-
nice.
Hopefully.
I'm enjoying some hardcore gay pornography.
Oh, put that down.
Right now. No, hardcore gay.
As you might expect, this didn't last long, with his channel being banned in August of that same year for reasons we'll get to later on. While he has tried to return several times, they were not nearly as successful as his initial run. This ultimately didn't matter too much since Frank has always been more interested in driving traffic to his Gumroad page, where fans can access his entire back catalog of uncensored content for $5 a month. This has always been his main revenue stream, and because of that fact, he has never had to tone down his content for mainstream platforms.
Let me guess, nobody works there.
Before we get into explaining the contents of some of these videos, I would like to delve into an
The food people should be above it, and that should be above it for real. I need stone.
methodology behind his hassling.
People have asked me how I do the things that I do, the methodology that goes into it.
Oh, please just finish the goddamn thing.
How I manage to keep a straight face. How I don't, I don't think I've ever broken when I've filmed something in terms of like laughing or anything like that.
He states that at the beginning of his career, he often walked around with a clipboard with various different questions meant to provoke people, before evolving to a point where he didn't need it. He also elaborates on what he feels constitutes a funny bit.
Well, I try to come up with something funny and then hit it 4, 5, 6 times, try to hit it in different tones, different ways, just to see how people react to it, see how it goes.
The interesting thing was that he would later discuss how he at first was actually very shy.
When Sam first hit me up about making this stuff, I was like, oh man, I'm kind of socially awkward. I don't like talking to strangers when I go out. I would just be in the bathroom shotgunning like Heineken's.
It's hard to imagine this being the case considering how infamous he would later become for keeping his cool in the face of violence. One thing about Frank that's also important to note is that he's quite tall, usually towering over the people he's hassling. He's acknowledged on occasion that this is most likely the reason he's able to get away with so much without being attacked.
My size is definitely, I'm 6'3". My size is like helpful.
Would you do this if you were like 5'4"?
No, I'd probably get my ass kicked.
In this interview, he also talks about what his limits were, if you could even call them that.
Too far for me is like, I don't want to fuck with people who have kids. I don't want to fuck with handicapped people. Like, that's really it for me. Like, this supremely elderly,
Whether he has always abided by this code is debatable, to say the least. I would like to clarify before we get too deep into the section that I will not be going over these videos in any particular chronological order. Mostly due to the fact it's a bit difficult to ascertain exactly when certain videos were filmed and released. With this context out of the way, I figured it would be a good idea to go through some of the most absurd videos in his catalog. One of the main things that differentiates Frank from your average prankster is his insistence. You see, there are a few beloved YouTubers out there that have pulled stunts in public, like when Filthy Frank terrorized unwitting civilians as Pink Eye.
Have you seen an alien, please? Have you seen a chef, please? Please! Please!
Even TV personalities such as Eric Andre have built up a reputation for making people uncomfortable and
And I just kind of stopped talking for a while. I'm doing poorly in Nova Roma right now. Things are going really badly. To dull some food shops. Where the hell would I even... Oh right, I bought the Villa Insula. Just haven't been able to build it yet. So we're constantly at a deficit for frickin' everything. Oh, what do you want? Make sure you have 4 grapevines. Okay, okay. I don't know what you think you're getting. You're not getting shite. Let's grow tired of their governor. Okay, I'm tired of my governor too. I don't even know who he is. They need some food counter, barbers, or other shops, right? Well, to do that, I have to build some of these. So let's go ahead and build those. Oh, crap. And then we'll put a food counter in this one. Because otherwise people are just going to be more unhappy.
The key here is that the joke.
I need to use the restroom. So I will be back. They should starve or anything while I'm gone, so I think it's actually safe to just leave it on 1, that way you're not staring at nothing. I shall return. I just had to use the restroom.
Is usually on
How are they doing
themselves,
here?
with the bit being how normal people react to weird situations, and once the cameras are off, they leave. Frank Castle, meanwhile, will target one individual and drive them over the edge, with one of the best examples of this being the food court king. The episode begins with Frank sitting down at a random food court table with 2 elderly strangers. The seat was already taken by their adult son, who asks him to leave. Of course, the hassler refused. After only 30 seconds, the man grew so angry that he threatened Frank with violence.
I'll shoot your ass.
You're gonna shoot me?
Yeah.
With what?
With my gun.
Where is it?
You wanna leave?
You gonna pull out your tool on me, man?
Despite being told to leave multiple times, Frank continued to provoke them, repeatedly claiming that he was a veteran, which would become a continuous part of his character's lore.
There's a seat right there.
No, he's not there. You don't know him. Get out.
I'm a veteran.
What you want? Get out of our
I'm a sovereign citizen.
The man who initially threatened him repeatedly stated that he would beat Frank up. The hassler didn't take this lying down, however, making it clear he would defend himself if he was put into a self-defense situation.
I'm a veteran, man. I know gun katana and Krav Maga, dude. Take you to the ground.
The older gentleman seated at the table then called security. After another minute of arguing, a mall cop was brought over who tried to calm everyone down. Sensing that he was potentially in trouble, he latched onto the fact that he had been threatened, using it to deflect criticism.
I just sat down for a second and he threatened to shoot me. He said he was gonna shoot me with a gun and then he threatened to punch me. What are you here for? I just sat down for a second.
In my seat, dumbass.
Whoa, what's wrong with him? Whoa, man. He's getting violent. I didn't disrespect your mom. You threatened to shoot me. I'm not even near you.
This is a common tactic Mr. Hassel uses to try and keep himself out of trouble. While he will be antagonistic when authorities aren't present, as soon as they arrive, he will concoct a narrative to suit his needs by twisting his target's words around and gaslighting them into believing he hadn't done anything wrong.
I was just sitting down for a second. No. I didn't know it was his seat.
You can't do that, sir.
I just sat down.
You cannot sit
He
down.
threatened to shoot me. He said he was going to shoot me. Are people allowed to threaten to shoot people at the mall?
Did you sit down in that man's seat?
So he can threaten to shoot me if I sit in his seat?
The filming concludes after another officer is brought in, but that's not where it ends. The Food Court King is notable because it's one of the few hassles that has an associated director's commentary style audio log, where he explains the context of what was happening. He also reveals that
So
after
usually
the
they
camera
show up
stopped
right there?
rolling, he was banned from the mall
So I'm
by the
hoping that,
officers,
like-
which he found amusing. As he explained, this was one of his earliest hassles, with the YouTuber still getting a feel for how to get away with it. He would eventually get more comfortable, as you can plainly see in the next hassle we'll discuss. As you probably already know, 2020 was one of the most politically charged years in recent memory. In addition to the global pandemic, the American government had to contend with the killing of George Floyd. The incident sparked a national debate about police brutality, with massive protests and riots breaking out all across the country.
That we have now just completely forgotten about and never hear about at all.
Frank saw an opportunity in the chaos, capitalizing on the tense political climate in Chad King Riot Rumble. In it, he attends a Black Lives Matter protest that took place in Atlanta, Georgia in late May.
Oh,
the video
God.
begins with several police reports discussing the protests, then cuts to various different clips Frank filmed of the unruly crowd.
I don't think he looks gay.
However, the majority of the video is spent focusing on Frank's interactions with another creator called Peachy Rider. She was live streaming the entire
Please to enjoy
event
the
on her
fine
YouTube
arts, the
channel,
shops are
with
too
most of
crowded.
her streams still
Fucking
being visible
Wunderbar,
to this
man.
day.
Fucking
Frank spliced
Wunderbar.
in the footage she captured with his own, creating a dual narrative. While intending to capture the protests in a journalistic manner, she would unfortunately become his next victim. Throughout the entire video, he followed her around, shoehorning himself in front of her camera whenever he could, often waving a hot dog around. He also accused her of being homophobic and racist numerous times, with the woman becoming more and more angry as events progressed. After protesters began throwing various objects at the police, tear gas was employed. A development Frank couldn't be more enthusiastic about. This would change after Frank ended up getting hit with tear gas himself. He eventually recovered after being hit in water and got distracted after he witnessed a horse barreling through the
Charcoal
street.
makers.
After reorienting himself, he went back to tormenting Peachy Rider, referring to himself as Chad King.
Chad King, I just got
Masons
tear
are
gas.
important.
We just got tear gas because Pizza Rider said the N-word to a police officer.
A man approached and tried to help, but also fell victim to his hassling. After throwing a hot dog chunk at her head, she pulled out a knife. Mr. Hassel jumped at this opportunity, goading her into trying to stab him. Frank then turned the unruly crowd against her by proclaiming that she had a weapon at the top of his lungs.
She's got a knife! She's got a knife! She's got a knife! She just pulled a knife!
He was later confronted by several protesters who called him out for his harassment of Peachy Rider, accusing him of being an infiltrator.
This is an infiltrator! This is an infiltrator!
The video ends off with a clip of Peachy getting arrested by police, with him getting away scot-free. This is a common theme throughout his content, as most of his videos end off without him facing any real consequences. This alleged injustice leads to frustration from many online users who write
Down there.
comments to
Oh, they
Frank
can
such
show up over
as,
here too, though.
"Whoa, I really want to fucking punch this guy in the face. He's a fucking goof. Come up to Canada and try that shit. I'll shove your head up your ass, ignorant bitch. I hope someone smashes his teeth in." There's several problems here, but he isn't the main one. The main problem are those who find this funny and fund his channel. He's literally earning money by being a complete fuckwit. Another problem here is that there's nobody knocking him the fuck out. This would become another ongoing joke in Frank's community. Frank would aggressively hassle someone in public, and then internet tough guys would act like if they were there, they would beat him up. Chad King Riot Rumble wouldn't be the only video where Frank displayed an affinity for hot dogs though, as seen in Hot Dog Heroes. The short 3-minute long clip starts with Frank and an associate asking a random passerby whether he had dropped a package of hot dogs. While most would simply brush this off and continue walking, the man became heated as Frank started to goad him further and further.
Are those your dogs?
Dude, I'm telling you, don't say it again.
Are those your dogs? Come on. Let's chill, man. Let's get out of here, pussy boy. Dude, stop pissing him off, man. Why are you pissing him off?
This seemed to be the end of the encounter until Frank calls him a bitch, sending the man into a blind rage.
You cannot call a man a bitch. A man who lives in the city, you do not call him a bitch. Honestly, you might not want to do it to a man who lives in like actual country either. You might be able to get away with it with like a suburban man, but a lot of people you call them a bitch, and that's like, it's time to fight. So
get him. Whoa, calm down, man. Hey.
After being attacked, Frank and his crew hopped into their getaway vehicle and drove away, escaping unscathed. As you might have guessed, acts of violence were a consistent part of his content, with him often taking beatings from his targets. One of the most infamous times this occurred was with CrossFit violence. The video starts with Frank attempting to enter into a CrossFit gym and being confronted by one of the coaches. She explained he would have to get a membership before working out, but he flat out refused, stating he just wanted to start lifting weights so he could, quote, get pussy. He then repeated this to various other patrons, including a teenager.
not to a teenager, no. That's not okay. You get your ass beat for that.
You can smash some gash.
This is when the actual owner of the gym stepped out to talk to the self-proclaimed diabetic. At first, it started off friendly, with the man believing Frank was there because he wanted to start taking classes. This was soon revealed to not be the case when Frank offered to wipe the man down with a towel.
Let me wipe you off, man. I got a towel. Man. Let me wipe you off.
Stop.
Why can't I wipe you down, man? Look.
If you're here for a joke, for real though. If you really want to do this, you're just here.
I just want to wipe you down, man. You're sweating.
This is when several other patrons confronted Mr. Hassel, defending the doorway of the establishment as the gym's owners called the police. Sensing that he was in trouble, Frank began running away, literally escaping into the woods. This wouldn't be the end, as he would return a few days later. This is when things took a much more serious turn, as the gym owner immediately recognized him. They exchanged words before he attempted to enter the facility through the back door. This sent the owner into a frenzy, forcefully removing him from the property and pinning him to a fence.
There are children in there.
I'm gonna get
Stop it.
pussy, bitch.
Stop.
I'm gonna get pussy, man.
Stop.
I'm gonna get pussy, man.
I'm gonna break your
get
camera.
crazy,
Don't
man.
do this.
I'm gonna get crazy, man.
What?
You can't hold me
Yes,
down.
I can. The cops told me to call.
What is this guy doing, man?
Once Frank got up, another CrossFit associate came out to assist, forcefully leading him away from the business while debating him on the legality of what had happened.
Don't ever walk in there. Don't ever do that to anyone ever.
That guy's not allowed to assault me, man.
This went on for a while, with Frank getting pushed further and further down the road. The video ends off with him walking off into the sunset, finally admitting defeat. Interestingly, once he posted the video to YouTube, the people involved discovered it and filed a privacy complaint, which temporarily got his channel taken down, though he would return to the platform soon after. He would later reflect on the incident in an interview, revealing that his fans had started to review bomb the business soon after the video's release.
Yeah. And he just sends me whiny emails saying, like, people are leaving bad reviews of my business. Can you ask them to stop? And it's like, bro, if I ask anybody to stop doing anything, that's not going to make them stop.
This would be short-lived, though, as the incident that arguably got him permanently banned from the platform would take place later that same year, with the ensuing controversy launching him into the mainstream. Now, some of you that are watching may have noticed that up until this point, I've neglected to give detail about one extremely important hassle from 2020.
Oh my goodness, there's a whole open wall over there.
2988. Chances are, if you're watching this video, you already know the details. I even created a video at the time covering it all.
Is it gonna
But
let me
regardless,
just like...
I figured that it would be a good idea to give another rundown of the situation here. The story began when Frank antagonized Boogie, who used to be known as the Mr. Rogers of YouTube, at one point sending very strange messages to him. If you do plan to harm, just to leave my friends and my dog out of it, you are welcome to kill me. We should make a video together where I give you a pink belly until your stomach has friction burns. I would be glad to do that as long as you promise you don't mean me or my family any harm. I don't know if you're actually crazy or just pulling some Andy Kaufman shtick, but if it's the latter, I would be glad to participate in. If it's alright, my life is awful enough without your help. So I would appreciate it if you can maybe just let me suffer without it. I get that I am an easy target, but if you have any empathy at all, dude, pick another. I don't. I'm a sociopath. I'm demented and sick. The old school YouTuber did not respond well to this. Instead of simply blocking the troll, he attempted to rope Frank into doing some sort of scripted content, an offer that was refused. Things began to escalate further after the two appeared on the kill stream later that same month, with Boogie listing all the horrible things that would happen to Frank if he decided to show up at his house.
You come to Arkansas, motherfuckers.
Frank said he's coming to your house and he's gonna walk you
I
around
won't even
the
have to
neighborhood.
lift a finger. My neighborhood.
He's gonna put the leash on you and walk you around like a
I'm gonna put your badass.
Help me bury you.
He said you're gonna lose that weight one way or the
Go
other.
right ahead, man.
It didn't help that Frank's YouTube channel was banned soon after this on August 15th, with him believing Boogie had been involved in some way. Over the next month or so, the internet troll would continue to torment him, but things really kicked off when Frank posted a photo of himself in Boogie's hometown in Arkansas. He would later claim in several interviews that he had actually flown in just to see a friend of his, though whether that's actually the case is debatable.
I was actually not in town to bother Boogie. I flew in to visit a friend, and I thought, while I'm here, it would be really funny to do this.
So that's what I told Boogie.
However, his online hassling of Boogie had apparently inspired copycats who wanted to get a piece of the glory for themselves. Shortly thereafter, Boogie posted footage from his security camera that showed an individual walking up and ringing his doorbell stating, "This man-child actually rang my doorbell and ran. You literally can't be more juvenile. Didn't even have the balls to wait for me to answer. LMAO." The obvious implication was that this was Frank's doing, though that actually wasn't the case as he flat out denied having involvement with this individual. Good old Keemstar witnessed all of these events unfolding and
I'm trying. I realize I've just been sitting here and not doing anything or saying anything. I'm just trying to wait for this fucking aqueduct to build. Also, this guy sounds like a sociopath. The Frank Hassel guy sounds like a lunatic. Just an absolute loony.
Decided to interview both of the feuding creators on his show Drama Alert. Boogie would become even more overtly antagonistic here, flat out encouraging Frank to show up, claiming he would shoot him on sight.
All right, well, cool, man. Let me make it very clear. You should be very glad you didn't step on my property, okay? And I highly recommend you don't. It'll be the last decision you fucking make, okay? I've played around with you. I don't know what your obsession is with me. I don't know why you think I got your YouTube channel deleted. I don't know if it's because you're mad I got your subreddit deleted. I don't know who you are. I don't know what your fucking problem is, but I have no problem fucking ending you if you
Oh my God.
come here. Okay?
What happened next would become internet history. On September 28th, 2020, Frank posted several tweets showing himself standing in front of Boogie's house, alongside a
Do I have
photo
to
of
like
the
pay for
formerly
those, or does it just
beloved
get those?
YouTuber pointing a gun directly at him. This quickly went viral.
They
with
just get 'em,
countless
that's
memes
sick.
being created at Boogie's expense. And at first, people including myself thought that this was all staged. The rotund YouTuber retaliated by giving his side of events in a video titled, "Confronting a Stalker. Do not come to a YouTuber's house." In it, he gave more context on the events that led up to the confrontation, though he strangely did not mention provoking Frank on Drama Alert. Instead, he includes a snippet of Frank at his front door steps, with it being captured by his security doorbell. He doesn't include the full thing though, claiming that he was unable to do so because of YouTube's terms of service. He ended off by reflecting on how the incident was indicative of a larger harassment problem on the platform.
He's very lucky that I was able to keep my mind in check and not defend myself and instead fire a warning shot. And this is why we need to, as a community, condemn this kind of behavior.
Looking back on archives of when it was first released, the general public
Cheapers that they're gonna keep temple workers on top or they might get upset.
being sympathetic and the upload having a positive like to dislike ratio. While it's hard to imagine nowadays, Boogie had not completely tanked his reputation at this point, with the situation giving him an opportunity to hit back at his critics. That's not to say what Frank did should have been socially acceptable, but at the same time, firing a loaded gun in a residential neighborhood is not something that should have been justified by anyone. Frank would later upload his POV of the standoff called the Hassle Doctrine.
Come on, you fucking pussy, what's the deal? Where's the gun at, you fat f***it? Open fire!
This honestly should have been where it ended. Most rational people would simply choose not to open the door and give the internet troll the satisfaction of being able to torment them. However, as you probably already know, Boogie chose a completely different route.
You are not welcome here. You have threatened my life. I'm asking you to leave. In about 30 seconds, I'm going to fire a warning shot.
Fire it now!
Okay.
Fire the warning shot now.
Shockingly, Frank was completely unfazed when presented by the sight of Boogie holding a firearm, possibly due to his military
That's terrifying.
service, instead laughing at the homeowner and continuing to provoke him even after the warning shot was fired. He did eventually walk away, but not before using some
God, why does it take so long for me to get stone?
Go.
Yourself,
Go. What the f***? That's the language you use?
After being posted online, this video became iconic, with the surrounding controversy escaping
Come on,
into
baby. There it is.
Frank instantly
Gonna have
went
water
from
all
an
over this
unexpected to one of the
motherfucker.
most notorious trolls on the internet, being characterized as a psychopathic stalker by other creators who weighed in on the situation.
They think that this is cool and funny, but it's not. This situation is so messed up, and Boogie honestly does not deserve this type of harassment.
It was even covered
Isn't
in news
Boogie like a
outlets such as
known
Business
liar now?
Insider and Vice. The latter contained comments from a
Oh, hey, how you doing? I'm playing Nova Roma. Hi,
himself,
Kyler.
stated,
Thanks for stopping by. Oh, that's
in
cool.
retrospect, it was a mistake to open the door. You know,
Yeah, I'm just listening to some wild, like, YouTube shit. Playing Nova Roma, building my own room. It's actually going pretty well at this point. We need more stone, though. God, we need more stone.
We do not want to shoot anybody.
We have no money. In terms of money, we have no money.
I hate that I was put in that situation. When they reached out
so we need a
to Frank for
theater.
comments, he replied by sending them a photo of feces in a toilet. While police did get involved, it was actually Boogie who would end up being on the wrong end of the law here. You see, the Arkansas Castle Doctrine is only able
What's
to
the
be
game
used as
about?
a legal defense when
So
the person who shot the firearm
Rome, the city, like the city of ancient Rome, has driven us out. They drove us out. They don't want us there. So we are building our own Rome to be like, we're better. And as a result, there are people that want to invade and conquer us, and that's why I've got like these walls up and stuff. Speaking of which,
landed himself into hot water with local authorities. Meanwhile, Frank fled the state, and it seemed like local law enforcement had no need to try to track him down. It's really crazy
There we go.
that if Boogie actually shot
Let's get some
Frank, he would have a higher chance of
guard
getting
towers
removed.
in.
It was later revealed on May 11th, 2021, that a warrant had been issued for his arrest for aggravated assault. A local news outlet called KNWA reported on the situation, giving more details regarding the reasoning behind the arrest. According to them, a court document stated that the defendant discharged a firearm into a residential neighborhood, thereby manifesting an extreme indifference to the value of human life and creating
I
a
need more
substantial
people.
danger of death of physical injury against the peace and dignity of the state of Arkansas. Frank, of course, couldn't resist, figuratively dancing on Boogie's grave by mocking him in several tweets. I have butt thugs throughout the Arkansas prison system, booty goons on standby ready to activate and destroy. A Change.org petition was also started that
We need
encouraged the state
money.
government to give Boogie the death penalty for his crimes. Boogie would later post a video going over his side of events in June, making it clear that he had been compliant throughout the entire process and that he had been the one to turn himself in. He also stated it was unclear when the case would be officially resolved, but this too would be answered on March 7th, 2022, when he released yet another upload.
I need more motherfucking stone, baby. Give daddy some stone. Daddy needs some motherfucking stone, baby. I need 6 more stone. I need some motherfucking stone, baby. I'm losing stone.
What the judge, my lawyer, and the prosecutor have agreed to here is called deferred adjudication. And basically, it kicks this whole thing down the road for 2 years. And at the end of that 2 years, it's very likely to get 346 and go away.
While at the time Boogie received widespread support from his fans and the general community, this goodwill wouldn't last long, as over the next few years he would face a series of other unrelated controversies that permanently tarnished his reputation, leading some to declare that Frank had won in the end. It goes without saying that Boogie developed a deep-seated hatred of Frank, with him discussing the incident even years later. In April of 2024, he made a tweet claiming that he even had dirt on the Hassler. Now that I am no longer on probation, I can speak freely. I am aware of something Frank had done that the internet, for good reason, will never know about. I can't speak on them publicly, and neither will the other people involved. But the world, or at least a few people, would be better off if I had buried his ass that day. He was later questioned on what exactly he meant by this on an episode of LOLcow Live, a show started by Keemstar created with the intention of capitalizing off of the infamy of its hosts.
Since Frank came to my house, I had several people come to me and say, Frank did this to me, Frank did that to me, and I believe these people. And I originally just wanted to out all of that shit. Since the last week's episode, I've had several people say, hey man, don't include me in this shit. I've moved past it. I'm afraid of that motherfucker. I don't have anything to do with him. So just don't bring me back into it. So I thought my process is I've got nothing to say to the guy because I can't say anything.
Keep in mind that these allegations are being made by Boogie, who is by no means a reliable narrator. He was exposed soon after for lying about a cancer diagnosis for over 2 years, leading to massive videos being created about him by other creators. Turkey Tom was brought on to one of the streams discussing this, where he provided more details about Boogie's claims. For context, he had been in the process of creating a documentary about the formerly beloved YouTuber, interviewing him in real life. He also ended up recording an interview with Frank as well, without Boogie's initial knowledge, of course. While filming with Boogie, he dropped the bombshell
We got attacked and I didn't know it.
was some sort of abuser, despite admitting he didn't have any proof to show for it.
We got attacked and I didn't know
it.
it.
was enough for Tom to become uncomfortable with releasing the project.
He's talked about it before. When he said that Hassel did something to some girl, you know, that drove him over there.
Yeah, there's another guy out there accusing Frank of that too right now, though.
So yeah, I got out. There was more than that. It was like he beat a girl, and then he also would like dated someone underage or was flirting with someone underage. It was a whole thing.
These allegations have not been proven beyond a shadow of a
Okay,
doubt.
I need to
With time only being
get some masons down there, which means more of our stone is going to be used, which means I need more quarry works. Doing yard work, oh that's cool. You know, a little bit of yard work can be nice for real. And I'm sure it doesn't feel like that right now while you're doing it, but
Well, Frank released a slew
getting
of new
outside's a good
uploads in
thing, you know.
2021. For the purpose of this video, we will
I'm replacing my roads with stone roads so that they're not ass, because my road system is currently ass.
effort video he has ever released, coming in at a whopping 26 minutes. The episode is framed as a news report discussing Frank's antics around the state of Rhode Island, with an actress taking the role of a news reporter. It is through this lens that we see references to a number of old skits and the different characters he has played. As explained in the
Oh
video,
shit, the governor.
Frank is a shape-shifting cryptid who attempted to blend in with normal
No, don't
humans
reappoint
by
him, no.
assuming different
That one.
identities that change depending on the situation.
Documented identities of Frank include a combat veteran, a CDC official, a clinical physician named Wario, and a baby.
Clinical physician named Wario. Just cleaning up after the giant storm. Oh, you had a giant storm where you are? That's rough.
Due to his status as a veteran, as well as
I'm glad it's just some cleaning up and not like, you know, having to like repair things.
on what to do if you encounter this dangerous individual. The Hassel lore is an aspect of his content I don't see many people discuss. While it may seem that the majority of his videos are just him bothering people, which is true, most of them also offer an overarching narrative that's related to his fictional universe in some way. Sometimes these are just small references, such as him referring to his GoPro camera as an insulin pump.
Is what? Insulin pump.
Get out of here.
I got diabetes.
But other times, it's an
It's an
intrinsic part of the
insulin pump.
content, like parading around as Dr. Don Wario, trying to give his patients estrogen at the supermarket to hypnotize them into becoming sissified bimbos.
You want to turn into a nice, sexy little lady. Yeah? Does that work? Is that doing anything for you? You've been taking your estrogen? I'm Dr. Don Wario.
I need to keep on making
Dr.
it
Don
clear that
Wario,
I'm not
that's
trying to excuse
fucking
the
funny.
nature of these videos.
I'm not gonna lie,
But you do have to admit it's a lot more effort than one might expect. Snapping back to reality for a moment, the actual content of the upload features Frank attempting to rile people up at a store. His method of doing this was unorthodox.
Okay, we got people getting happy again.
So it is you. Maybe. The guy who raped me in my dream.
One of the good ones.
Stuff is mine now.
You got a shopping cart in the berries.
No, I'm good. You could just give me the cart. Okay, don't tattle on me, okay? Okay, thank you.
Jumping back to the lore, the reporter goes on to highlight
There's
how
some
this
flooding
was
that I had to take care of on the roads. Oh man, that's rough.
comparing him to a wild animal that reacts
Do you have to
poorly
like
shouting. While the first
clear
man
out the
had been able to roll with the punches, the second victim,
roadside
Frank chose,
drains
was
or
not
whatever,
so
or
forgiving. In fact, this is the closest call with authorities the Hassler has ever come. With
I
this
know like by
particular
where I
bill
live, if it was
escalating
flooding,
so
that would be
far
the
that
thing we'd
he
have to do is like go out and fix the drain.
Who are you? You're the guy who raped me in my dream. An angel told me I would meet you here.
He continues to follow
An angel told me I would meet you here. Where they're paying so much in taxes.
who claimed he had seen the future and that he would be arrested if he didn't leave the store immediately. When the victim went up to the customer service counter, Frank acted as though nothing was wrong. The woman didn't buy it, however, and began calling for backup. Hassel continued
Oh shit, they're calling for
the man,
backup.
stealing his hat in the process. This is when the manager came out and instructed the employee to call the police. Frank tried his usual tactic of gaslighting his victim and pretending that he had done nothing wrong. This worked at first, but they began to grow suspicious.
Where are my
when
tax
he began
collectors?
walking away.
Yeah, we can watch it.
Sure.
Okay. Good. Okay, later.
He tried to escape, but was unsuccessful as he was soon confronted by a police officer. This is when he immediately drops any pretense of being a troll and fully admits that he had been filming a video, even stating that he
Better
had,
to take
in fact, been
yeah,
accusing the man
clean
of
it off.
assaulting him in
Gotcha.
his dreams. He began interrogating Frank about what had happened, then proceeded to place him in handcuffs, stating that he was temporarily being detained. Interestingly, this is also when we get a brief glimpse into how much money there was to be made in hassling.
Oh, am I double
I have
taxing
subscribers
people?
that pay $5 a month to watch my videos.
Okay. Okay. About how many people?
I'm making like $1,000 a month.
Okay.
Which is pretty good money.
I mean, it is decent money.
The police officer called in a manager, clearly unsure of what to do with him. The next part of the video
Come
is the
on,
cop talking
baby.
to Frank, trying to see if he had actually done anything illegal. It turns out the only smoking gun the police officers had was that he took off the man's hat at one point. With this, he was given a criminal trespass warning and was told that while he was not being arrested at the moment, a warrant was being put out for his arrest. This ended with Frank calling his getaway driver.
What the
with
fuck
him
does
as
that
usual
mean?
escaping into the night unscathed. He soon after left the state he was in, and as far as I can tell, that warrant is still out for his arrest. The reason I focus so much on this video is because it encapsulates everything people simultaneously love and hate about his content.
I think it's a really good spot for that.
Fancy editing, and a brush with the law. Despite the drama he faced in real life, however, the year was mostly clear from brush-ins with other content creators. But this would soon change. For context to this next skirmish, in February of 2022, the YouTuber Matt Jarbo, most notable for starting Gamergate, hosted a live debate between the previously mentioned Ethan Ralph and beloved troll Mr. Medical. Both of these online provocateurs laid the groundwork for internet blood sports, a community defined by constant infighting and heated
So my
debates that
sister
often
went out to
take
go
place
clean
during
stream. That's
live
cool.
streams. While the lore surrounding the community is worthy of its own video, the only thing you need to understand is that this debate was a huge deal when it happened. At one point, Medicare brought up an internet feud between Ethan Ralph and a man named Jesse P, who ran the self-proclaimed anti-podcast Pod Awful. Jesse had previously appeared on the Kino Casino YouTube channel during a stream dedicated to hating Ethan Ralph, at one point delivering a box of diapers to his house. The next morning, Ralph awoke to find that corn cobs had been dropped off at his front door. Ethan maintained that what had happened was harassment that frightened his fiancée, which led Medicare to accuse him of hypocrisy for his previous stance on the Boogie situation.
And then Ralph, I guess the other question related to this, and this is an honest one. You promoted the Frank Hassel and Boogie thing.
No.
You promoted the Frank Hassel and Boogie thing as being based in Red Pill.
I'll let you ask whatever.
Okay.
After Medicare and Ralph had finished their debate, Jarbo decided to keep the stream going and invited various other members of the community to join in. This, of course, included Frank Hassel. Flamenco, another streamer, also brought up Pod Awful's feud with Ethan Ralph. Recognizing the name, Frank decided to chime in with his own 2 cents.
That Pod Awful guy is a freak, though.
Yeah.
In Ralph's defense, that guy is also a total psycho freak.
At first, it wasn't exactly clear why he felt this way, but this would soon be answered when Jesse later joined the call and confronted Frank about it directly.
I was friends with this mentally disabled guy on Facebook like 5 or 6 years ago, and he like harassed the guy and like tried to get him to come on the stream all the time and was like,
who was that?
Like abusing a mentally retarded guy.
Who was that?
Again.
What was his name?
Brian Fortune.
Brian Allen Fortune? I'm still friends with him. I talk to him all the time.
No, his whole family had to block you because you were like messaging his mom.
I'm friends with him right now.
Jesse wouldn't take this lying down, however, and went on to record an episode of Pod Awful where he responded to the allegations and set the record straight on his relationship with Frank Hassel. In the description, he states, "I've learned the error of my ways, and it is time to apologize to everyone. Somehow, this now includes names I never thought it would before, like Frank Hassel. But most importantly of all, I owe an apology to a man I wronged many years ago, a man named Brian Allen Fortune." During the episode, Jesse contests the narrative that he harassed this Mr. Brian Fortune fellow, and actually accused Frank of being the one who bullied him. He has a call with Brian, who gives a different side of events.
Frank paid you $100 because you showed your dick, or?
Yeah. I was like, really?
That's kind of gay of him.
Yeah, I think so. It's kind of weird.
You pay a guy to show his penis. That makes you like a gay guy.
This video never came out for one reason or another, with the recorded footage being private to this very day. It's important to emphasize that this is all alleged, with the only definitive proof of it even happening being hearsay. And while the two had it out for each other, they seemingly came to a resolution later on, with Frank even appearing on an episode of Pod Awful. They bonded over their shared interest.
Swear to God, you better not tell me it's too steep. Swear to fuck.
They discussed how they eventually came to an understanding and elaborated more on what the actual story was with this Brian guy.
Anyway, the point is, we cleared all this in this very long
I have done it.
Where we both realized, no, we
My
both
power
like Brian.
grows.
We both have fucked with Brian probably too hard.
At the end of the day, we may never know the full story here, but retrospectively, it seems like the drama between the two was never really that serious. Regardless,
Connect bath buildings to form a dynamic bathhouse.
Context of his videos.
Okay.
The rest of the year continued on as normal, with the infamous troll releasing even more content. Before we dive into his next video,
Now I unlock the hot pool.
While the previous few years had been a roller coaster of
I
stakes
need
that
more,
constantly became higher and higher, it seemed that Frank was getting sick of this and slowed down the production of content by quite a bit. 2 of the videos from this year were episodes of his podcast.
Why is the average home happiness so low?
And another was just a re-upload of some old footage of his trolling in Counter-Strike. He also released a mega compilation of his online trolls, with the other videos being more standard. The first of these that we will be discussing is framed as an employee training video for a company called Secure Protection United.
I kind of feel bad that this video has just been playing. Let's see if I can watch something else. God's least favorite streamer.
Welcome back to the Papa Meat channel. Come on in and sit down because today we're going to be talking about the food VTuber epidemic.
Just go to Hot Topic with a sourdough roll and you'll get a goth bitch. You will.
The streaming world has evolved quite a bit in the last decade or so. For most streamers, the goal is to showcase an authentic personality by putting their face on their content. Is that what you think of when you think of streamers?
Well, you want to seem like, I'm normal guy. I'm a normal girl, big boobies.
And the chat. Look at oh humble me. But over time, however, tubing has morphed the streaming landscape drastically. Today, many people use elaborate avatars and play up their own original characters. However, not all VTubers are confined to the brightly saturated characters with fat, swinging, big fucking titties. Anime. No. VTubers are no longer anime girls, Nick. They're much more. In fact, it appears we're now entering a brand new era of VTubing, a bizarre trend where streamers take the form of anthropomorphic foods, mostly just from the burnt peanut. We're seeing this thing right now. With one man's success, it has altered the landscape of media, which is not a new thing. People do it all the time. Mr. Beast.
He changed YouTube forever.
Mr. Beast has changed the way that people interact with content now. That fucking, what's that one guy? Brent Rivera? Have you seen that motherfucker? Oh my God. It's the exact same thing. The cuts, the cues, the text, everything is identical to that Mr. Beast format, but that's just because people want to follow success. And I think people associate the food VTube thing as like, that's what people want to see.
It's funny, it's cute.
But people don't realize the personality comes with it. You have to be quick-witted. You have to have charisma, right?
People were comparing it to the annoying orange. It's like reverting back.
The fact that it's a peanut is like totally irrelevant.
No, that's the success.
That's the successful key. Okay, I forgot about that. Yeah. We're going to talk about this new trend, but we're also going to talk about how it's led to possibly the worst streamer in modern history. And it's it's quite the ride, so buckle up. The catalyst for this epidemic of food tubers is a well-known Twitch streamer that you've all probably heard about, the Burnt Peanut. I think he really blew up with Arc Raiders. I had a buddy that watched them all out when he did. I think he was an Escape from Tarkov guy back in the day. But anyways, funny guy, quick-witted, and good at games. Like that's like, you have to have that. I don't know if there's many Twitch streamers that do very well. I know people say that players are bad. I feel like you have to be actually pretty competent at games to make it like watchable. Like when if I stream something like a game, oh my God forbid.
Yeah, you get grilled.
Horrible, tortured. I mean, people don't want to, and people are backseat gaming the whole time. You have to follow somebody that feels competent at the game. They're quick-witted, they're funny, they're likable, all those things. Like it's a very rare thing to have, I feel like. And over the last 2 years, the Burnt Peanut has risen to unfathomable fame. Every time I see that motherfucker on Twitch, it's like 60 to 70,000 people watching. It's pretty insane.
I think he's botting. Everybody on Twitch bots.
That's also cope, though, isn't it? He's botting. Yeah. It's like, fuck off. Yeah. I see clips of him all the time. He's botting. Yeah, right. It wasn't until 2024, however, that he began gaining a large following after clips of his Tarkov streams went viral on TikTok.
Are you fucking serious right now? Are you serious?
People were initially drawn to upbeat personality, the unique presentation, and the small details like his character's rotations of fun costumes, which I will say, this does show, and it's a good example of, you just have to put in a little bit of effort to stand out. If you're already called a Burnt Peanut, it makes sense that like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna be a peanut avatar because what the fuck else am I gonna be? But then it's like, oh, what if I just gave him different clothes? And then you just use a stream deck or whatever. And there it is. And people are like, oh my God! But that's just because the whole landscape is so fucking boring and not inspired. That was like a deal back in the day when I first saw Dr. Disrespect streams. You'd see all those transitions and shit, and you're like, the production level on this is crazy. I mean, a lot of people can do that. It's just a matter of, do you have the gumption? Yeah. Do you have the creative will? If I was watching this, I would want to see this. You know what I mean?
I want to see the Burnt Peanut sitting on a beanbag chair with the Xbox controller and Cheetos, you know, because he switches out the background and stuff. So I think that's exciting for...
Sorry, I don't know why, but I had a panic attack while you're talking. But to be fair, though, the large part of the Twitch landscape or streaming landscape is, how do I say this in a nice way? It's like people that aren't the most social, that are just good at games. And, you know, they have a quirky thing where they look at the camera and they'll be like, hog. Hog. Yo, that guy just got owned. Hey, Crystal Scepter, thank you so much for the 2 months, man. That's one thing that I found too. The bro culture on Twitch is insane. I didn't expect it. I think it's just mostly Call of Duty and that kind of thing, but it's always like, yo, okay, I'm dropping in. And I'm sitting there, I'm like watching it on like my break at work. I'm like, I wish that was me. This video is sponsored by Fume, the leaders in flavored air. Fume is the flavored air device designed to help people quit vaping and smoking by breaking the hand-to-mouth pattern. Cravings can come in when you least expect them. You have to find a way to fight the urge and not return to your old ways. And breaking bad habits can be hard, so don't let Fume help.
I don't quite
Fume
understand the question. I believe you said that was a Wisconsin place, didn't you?
Fume anywhere.
I am nowhere near Wisconsin.
You can have it as your natural replacement while you're working on improving your habits.
I think.
With Fume,
I actually don't know where Wisconsin is. To be honest, I'm terrible with locations.
Fume is an
You will never catch me being like, I know where that is. Oh yeah, I'm so smart. Like, no, my dumb ass don't know locations.
Device here at my desk, so it's close by in case I'm feeling anxious or bad habit wants to distract me from my work, like cut that.
I mean, shit, let me get that
Better to
burger.
play with
What's up?
Fume at my desk than go back to bad cravings. Am I right? If you're ready to break the habit, now's a great time to try Fume. Right
Why is
now,
that
when you
built
grab
like
a
that?
journey pack,
Why
you
did
get
I
a free
build that like
Fume
that?
topper just for using my code PAPAMeat. The
Oh,
Fume
okay.
topper adds a soft, replaceable, chewable mouthpiece, providing something safe to chew on when cravings hit. Grab this offer while it's available. Head to tryfume.com/PapaMeat. That's TRYFUM.com and use code PAPAMeat to get your free Fume topper with your journey pack.
I feel
Thank
like
you
I'm
to
like
Fume for
done.
sponsoring the
Like,
video.
there's nothing else for me to do.
When Arc Raiders released in 2025, he became one of the streamers to watch play that game, pushing him into peak stardom. And with this rapid growth came a higher production budget and tons of collaborations with other known streamers. This is not without pushback, however, as people across the internet think
They'll
both the
build a
Burnt Peanut
market?
and his fan base are insufferable. People post videos of fans
What the
laughing, clapping their
fuck?
hands and feet.
I
to
gotta
what
build
looks like brain rot screaming
specific
content,
stuff
which I
that
want to interject here as well. That shit, you get popular enough, you're gonna get hate. You know what I mean? The motherfucker is a peanut VTuber playing Arc Raiders. If you're like, making fun of that, it's just a thing where it's just, it becomes popular, therefore, so I don't fucking like that anymore, actually. That's fucking stupid. And yeah, is there like some
Do you know where
cringe comments? What
Minnesota,
the fuck he says,
Illinois are? I believe they're like Midwestern, right?
who cares? But
Here,
that's the
hold
thing,
on.
though, is
I
it
can
becomes
look at a
easy
U.S.
target
map.
because
It's not
he's
like
very well
I'm
known. I get
incapable
to
of
make
finding out.
my little content making fun of things. And there you go. Some adult fans even record themselves in tears on the floor as they react to his streams. I don't think I've ever had that, luckily. I don't think my fan base has ever been that dedicated where some guy's like, oh my god.
Illinois is right. Oh, I see. Oh, okay. I didn't. Okay. Wisconsin's kissing Michigan. I see.
Comment section even related to him, you'll find
That's cool.
comments saying that he is the light in a dark world. Or
Yeah, I'm not
that he
near
needs
that.
to be on every TV in America, which he has dedicated fans. What the
I'm
fuck?
not
You
gonna
can
say
say that
where
with
I
any
am, but
rabid fan base. Look
I'm
at
not
any
near
fan
that.
base. The problem is when a fan base becomes rabid, they become insufferable. To people who aren't into that fandom. That's why you get like the Has-Been Hotel. People hate those fans, or like Amazing Digital Circus, all that kind of shit. Rick and Morty. It's just it comes with the territory of being a huge like IP or star.
People just they get rabid.
People get rabid. They get excited. They can't help it. Essentially, people treat the Burnt Peanuts audience.
It's like free. Apparently, this is I'm gonna learn about the most hated woman in YouTube history. Let's find out about that.
I would say one of the main contenders.
No, I don't live anywhere near it. I'm not gonna say where I live, but I don't live anywhere near Wisconsin.
To the forefront of the online culture war. Run by Anita Sarkeesian, this unassuming woman would go on to be one of the most controversial faces on the World Wide Web, with claims of collusion and theft still lingering on to this very day. But after over a decade, I wanted to ask myself if this vitriol was really justified, which led me down an extremely convoluted rabbit hole as I tried my best to take an objective look at the rise and fall of
You know what? We are going to take a little stream break, and we will be back.
I love that it just fires at random and does that.
Yeah, it shoots at like any targets within 100 meters. It's wild. Okay, cool. It's already marked.
Can we stop at Dairy Queen?
No, there's no Dairy Queen. Do you have
But I
Dairy
need
Queen
ice
money?
cream for my A&W.
Oh God.
Oh great.
Thank you.
There's a whole other supply pack. Right here that I
Oh,
called
there
in
they
too.
are.
Oh, I can't wear that.
That's who's whispering at me in Robot Ease. There's a whole thing. things over there.
Oh, yes, there is. That was sick. I just killed Alex. Take it down. Take it down. The laser's not killing it. The laser killed it. Laser's killing that one too.
Laser does last quite a bit. Yeah, it ended up getting it. And now it's going down to burn the people.
Oh, big guy, Alex, turn around.
Oh, railgun.
Oh, that works.
There you go.
Oh my god.
Popped out of it.
No way, that's awesome.
Yeah, you pop out and then you can do it.
Orbital inbound.
Oh, that's good. Keep driving. No way. That's gonna kill us, isn't it?
Get out, get out.
Ah! Been yeeted.
Don't look away. If you look away, the bots win. You gotta stare at it. You gotta stare at the flag, Dan. There you go. No, stare at the flag.
I am staring at the flag.
There we go.
Ta-da.
Ow! Oh, we're leaving.
Oh god. Get to the ship.
Let me in.
It did not just land on you.
Well, it did, but it didn't.
So the Mountain Dew just slaps.
Yeah. This Mountain Dew slaps about as well as a abusive stepfather.
Foundry things. And then head towards the extract.
Here. Reloading.
Running.
Which is a little easier now that I picked up your supply pack.
Yeah. Oh my fucking god! Every time!
Did you not see that one?
No, my big fucking fat ass cheeks that are clapping in the wind are in my way when I'm running. And a fucking Gatlin barrage.
Stim, stim, stim! Stim, damn you! Like an ADHD child! Stim! Oh dear Christ!
Oh my god! Baby nothing. I couldn't one-shot a fucking thing if I shot it in the face at point-blank range. I'm surprised there wasn't 7 tanks, 13 airstrikes, and 4 just giant dicks hitting me in the chin.
Well, just think, once we beat this, it'll be impossible, and maybe there will be.
Go on. No.
There'll be all the dicks hitting you in the chin that you could ever imagine.
Oh, no.
How many requisition slips do I have right now?
Oh, I'm dead.
We have Dan. Come here.
Yes. What's up?
I dropped a rare sample.
Look that way.
Alex, you are not.
Oh, fuck.
Alex is dead. Get it, Alex, get it!
It's on!
Alright, chat, how you doing? I'm back. I guess I'll make myself a little bigger down here. Alright, you know what? Fuck that. Shrink me. Put me down there. Can we make this a little bigger? There we go. Now let's watch this thing about Baby No Money.
Situation is crazy, insane, whatever. I'm gonna title the video, but the internet is really split on him. I mean, they have been for quite a while, but now I feel it's definitely reached a boiling point. Now, usually with the more
mess up the screen because I want this bigger.
I tend to split them up into different stories. This will only be about BB No Money because it feels a little bit out of touch to talk about some serious things and then do a segue and talk about the balloon version of Tung 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 Sahur. Now, BB No Money is a rapper who's incredibly popular at the minute. He's actually doing his networking in a way that a lot of people haven't seen before. Most people, they get kind of a record deal, they get themselves plastered onto billboards. BB No Money does it in a different way. He actually does it on the ground level, usually through Twitter, commissioning artists, doing viral TikTok trends. But he's had a lot of accusations against him recently, like for example, mistreating artists, copying a cosplayer's content, among other things as well, which I will get into. I mean, I'll be honest, I really didn't even hear about this drama. The only reason I did is because I posted myself doing a Leon cosplay from years ago that I just reused because Resident Evil 9 came out, and someone quote tweeted it saying, well, it was better than the BB No Money cosplay at least. Now, recently, BB No Money has been commissioning a lot of artists to make animations of his song. This was basically a transactional thing. Okay, my song gets to look really good, and then also, hopefully, the artist gets paid what they're worth, and then also gets some exposure. Now, him and his team did do a promotional campaign for Come to Brazil, and this is where he commissioned 100 artists to make animations to the song. He's also been very vocal against AI art slop, posting a video to like one of his songs saying, me on my way to fight AI slop and commission every real artist. And this is when I think there was a little bit of a turn. I mean, honestly, I've noticed the BB No Money hate for quite a while. If you look at certain pockets of the internet, certain comment sections, you'll see it everywhere. I feel that we're in an era now where the only way to actually properly blow up is through short form content. And this is where the first accusation came up because an artist quote tweeted his post, basically saying, if you're an NSFW artist, don't collaborate with the guy. He claimed he could only afford half my animation rate, and also apparently refused to post or even retweet the animation after finding out they're an NSFW artist, even though apparently BB was already told that they were. And then when the artist tried to communicate with him, they were ghosted completely. He also attached 2 screenshots of DMs that he had with BB No Money's social media manager, April, after he posted the animation and didn't hear anything about them, and BB No Money reposting it. So in the messages, he says that BB is going to interact with the post, but now apparently completely unfollowed him, saying that he responded only positively and apparently knew from the beginning that he was an NSFW artist the entire time. And also, when he was only offered half of the rate, he didn't actually try to argue with it because he thought that the exposure would actually propel, you know, the career forward, I guess. He also said that he knows that he should not ever work for exposure because that is a literal meme in the commission community. Like, you say to someone, hey, what's your rate? $70. Okay, but would you do it for exposure? That means I get it for free. But basically said that BB, or Alex, as I might refer to him throughout this video, his public anti-AI stance made him think it was a good opportunity to show that NSFW artists can do more than just NSFW. He then reached out to April again and is basically confused and asked like what he did wrong. And then 2 days later, he followed up saying that he's really disappointed that BB only left a comment instead of retweeting like he did with the other animations. And then in the other screenshot, he asks about BB No Money unfollowing him despite liking the animation. And April responds saying that Alex apparently didn't realize that he was an NSFW artist. And then he kept getting new art in his feed after he followed Slade. She said that he was one of BB No Money's favorite artists of the bunch, and she understands his frustration, whatever that can mean. Now in the second image, he's also saying that he's willing to lower the amount than his usual $700 rate, saying that he's happy to work on something that isn't. And then she says the most she can do is $350 because they're commissioning 100 artists. He then replied to someone asking if he was already paid. He did clarify and say that he was paid, but it wasn't about the money. It was more about the feeling of being disrespected and ghosted. He also replied showing a screenshot of a direct conversation with BB No Money where he actually said that he'll repost and
I've heard a lot of people criticize the artist, like, oh, you got your money and all that kind of stuff, but it's like there's the reason they were doing it is what got taken from them essentially, so like I get it.
Engage with his video as part of a MFN deal. An MFN deal is basically words for this like contractual clause that pretty much means equal treatment for all the parties involved. Now he made a reply posting more of the DMs with BB, even, you know, saying that at the very beginning he did clarify that he was a artist. His first message basically saying, I can animate more than if you wanted to discuss that. And then 2 days later, the artist posted a screenshot basically showing a DM that he sent to BB No Money, saying that BB actually reached out, apologized, and offered to pay him. That's been interpreted as paying him off, essentially paying the full rate, not the discounted rate. But then he said, you know, I'm not really interested in the money or the recognition. He just wanted him to publicly acknowledge the situation and then apologize to the NSFW community. There's also a post where he's like implying possible plans to make revenge of BB No Money. Also, this is completely unrelated, but going down this rabbit hole was insane. Like,
If he did that, then like if he even said he was going to do that, then instantly no leeway, no care. I don't care what is unfair about it. You sound like a psycho.
Going through this guy's Twitter account, I actually found some posts that he's apparently related to, of all people, Andrew Tate, posting some supposed family pictures together, as well as messages about his family asking him to fly out to Romania with them. There were other artists that spoke out as well, like for example, Ray Same. I really hope I'm saying that name right. I do not want another Metro's Booming Track moment. They made a series of tweets talking about commissioning a big artist, but they wouldn't actually name who it was, saying that they only offered him $100 as thanks for an animation. Also, English isn't the guy's first language, so that's why some of it comes across as a little bit disjointed. He said that this was his first time getting commissioned, and BB No Money's team
There you go, finally got a little water thing.
until the animation was done, which is, I have never known a scenario where payment is talked about afterwards, after completion, and it goes well. This could be bad for the artist because they feel that their work is really underappreciated, but also, what a lot of people don't look into, this could be really bad for the person commissioning because they could be absolutely stun-locked by not knowing of such an insane price. This is the basics with commissioning art. You really need to get this stuff sorted before anything takes place. A lot of artists usually do a really good job, like a pinned tweet or something showing like their prices, you know, that kind of thing, so you can gauge it. But again, it's like, you could literally just ask. And then apparently his friends told him that, hey, you're probably being underpaid a little bit here. He actually asked for a pay increase. And they then raised it to $150, which he says in retrospect now feels very underpriced. And then someone replied saying, hey, is this BB No Money? Because he does reach out to a lot of artists and usually his price range is $100. And then he replied, pretty much just saying, yeah, it is him. And then another artist also said that they were commissioned for the same project as Slade and was really upset to realize that apparently the only interactions with animations were the ones that did numbers. Slade also posted a series of emails.
Oh, so like he called a bunch of artists in, but only like gave a few of them any attention, I guess. This sounds like a nothing burger to me.
Again, I do want to say though that these are just screenshots, so there is no actual way to prove if these are legit or not. And then he posted another alleged email exchange where BB No Money's team makes an offer significantly lower than their rate. Now, for context, all of this actually happened about a month ago, but 2 days ago, BB No Money posted a tweet addressing the situation. There's a conversation regarding me not paying creatives for commissions. One individual has been relentlessly harassing me because of an oversight on me not reposting their content. A month ago, I offered to pay his full rate and formally apologized, which is attached. For being unable to repost his content and lead my audience to find his page. It was a fundamental oversight on my behalf, although they haven't stopped harassing me. I've never not paid out animators. I've commissioned thousands of artists and will continue to commission more because I believe in propelling art forward. Now, out of all the posts that he's made, this is the one that kind of blew up the most, and it attracted a lot of defenders and also a lot of detractors. And then he attached a DM that he sent from like the 20th of February, basically saying that he's sorry and he's like willing to pay the full rate. There were some people that were saying, so you're flat out using your clout and e-fame to basically get discounts on art. And then other people accusing him of being a hypocrite, saying that why would you not want to interact with an NSFW artist when you've done multiple collaborations with OnlyFans girls? But then other people came out to defend BB No Money, saying how, well, 98% of the people had a good experience. Why are we only focusing on the 2? It's because the internet is so brain rotted.
I will also say, in terms of like the NSFW artist, Baby No Money has like younger fans, and yes, he does talk about a lot of shit that younger fans shouldn't be listening to. It would be irresponsible as shit of him to be like, right, I'm gonna lead my like teenage fan base to this like porn site. So I kind of understand that view on it.
And focused on drama. And then other people actually came to defend him, like this person who was actually commissioned by his team to do an animation saying that he had a great experience. Most people did. It was basically 2% of people that didn't, but the internet tries to make that the majority because everyone is just so drama hungry. It's probably also important to mention that that artist that defended BB No Money, their first ever commission was actually an animation for him. You've also had other YouTubers weigh in as well, like for example Omni, who said that the biggest problem here is you basically tried to cast the biggest net imaginable without really thinking about the repercussions. I mean, I even personally know some artists that were commissioned by him, like for example Kenzie, who was defending the guy, saying that, you know, she was treated really well, she was paid fairly. It's always very difficult weighing these situations because the bad experiences don't nullify all the good experiences, but then all the good experiences
Don't
that artists have
nullify
had
the
doesn't
bad,
immediately
yeah.
erase all of the bad ones as well. They both need to kind of be weighed and each situation looked at individually. Shut up! Shut up! Sorry, there's a moth. You know, moths kind of like flap their wings on the ceiling. It's quite really annoying. Like living here rent-free, I think I'm allowed to complain. There's also more things relating to cosplaying. Again, the only reason I even knew about any of this drama is because someone quote tweeted my Resident Evil Leon cosplay saying that it was better than BB No Money's. So there was a cosplayer called Dearest Sinner, and they basically accused BB No Money of copying her Resident Evil cosplay TikTok and not giving credit. For comparison, this is her original post, and then this is BB No Money's version. And then she made a tweet saying that BB's now actually credited her on Instagram, but only after she made the reel calling him out, and that went viral. Even saying that he still hasn't actually credited her on TikTok, where his copycat video is performing a lot better. Her biggest evidence here on calling him out, apparently, that he must have seen it, is because the TikTok caption has the heart emoji in both of the videos, which she only posted on a TikTok upload, not her reel. But then there were other creators that came out to defend BB No Money, like for example Peach Jars, saying that this is basically a non-problem and that she's copied TikTok videos in the past. And then people were also quick to point out that Peach Jars and BB No Money were also represented by the same agency, rightclick.gg. Now, thankfully, Peach Jars does say that asking for credit is reasonable, and I do agree with that. I feel like, you know, if you're inspired by, like, a dance or something like that, you probably should give credit. Because I feel with short-form content, it's very different to, let's say, long-form YouTube videos, right? Like, if you're inspired by someone, like if they cover a game or a film, and then you want to also cover a game or a film, and you're inspired, I don't think that really needs credit. Because if every YouTuber listed every person that they, like, you know, were inspired by, directly or indirectly, every video description would look like Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix in page length. But obviously, if you've got a singular dance that's like a 6-second long video, and it looks very, very similar, then it kind of reaches that point where it's like, yeah, you wouldn't have been able to really do this on your own. It's probably best to just credit. But she does also say that just insulting him and his cosplay is going a bit too far. Again, personally, I will not speak on the BB No Money cosplay. People have been saying that my cosplay is better, and that is fucking bad news. Like, if you're saying that mine is better, that's when it's over. That is when it's over. That's all I'm saying. Now, Dearest Sinner did actually reply recently saying that he did actually eventually credit her on TikTok as well, but then assumes that it wasn't genuine and it was more just kind of like damage control. It does kind of reach that point where it's like, if
God
you do
dang
give
it.
credit,
I wish it
damned
would
if you
stay
do,
on
damned
that.
if you don't. I mean, he was basically put in a catch-22 situation, or catch-21.
Is there a lock mouse?
21. You credit and then you're called out for damage control, or you don't credit and you make it worse. It could have just credited from the beginning. I think that's a thing that a lot of bigger creators need to do with short-form content. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm original by any means. I mean, bro, like I literally got my YouTube fame by copying Leafy is Here. But again, like going back to the short-form stuff, it's much more compact. So there's much less to be inspired by, and it's more a very direct comparison there. Because again, most stuff that goes viral on TikTok,
That almost
it'll be a
led to
meme
death.
or a dance. There's also been some accusations that BB No Money is apparently racist because some of his old songs actually had the N-word in them. Now, this is one I am going to talk about because I feel like if I didn't put the video out there, a lot
That's
of
a
people
little
would say,
wild.
oh, well, you said the N-words. Is that why you're trying to, like, cover for him? Is that why you're not going to talk about it? I mean, yeah, I did. Like, I've talked about this before multiple times. There are compilations of me on YouTube saying the N-word that have hundreds of thousands of views. They're embarrassing. They are absolutely cringe. You can tell I was a pasty white kid that never went outside. I'm the exact same now, but I'm basically pushing 30. Like, I got two choices here. Accept what I did was bad and move on from it and actually grow as a person. God, oh God, even saying Jesus Christ, that's like Logan Paul energy. Ugh. Ugh, I don't like saying that. Or the other one is I go on this bizarre moral crusade because I have so much internalized hate for myself. I'm not going to do that second one. There are YouTubers that have done that. It's fucking embarrassing. Now, the original post calling him out here has been taken down, but then there was another post that was made basically accusing him of being racist. So this is from an old song from BB No Money SoundCloud called Lifted, which was supposedly posted back in 2019. And this included a screenshot from the BB No Money subreddit where a fan was asking about the song. And in the Reddit post, they say that they came across the song and they were wondering if the artist is actually Baby No Money. And then in an edit to the post, they claim that it is him, and then the song was posted on his SoundCloud in 2019 and then deleted in 2022. They said that they came across the song through a Discord music bot that could convert SoundCloud music links to MP3s, which was apparently able to access privated links. Now, the replies on the Reddit at the time here were pretty split. I mean, you had some of the people that were basically saying that he was a feature on the track, but he didn't actually say it himself. And then one of the posters actually went through the credits and found that he was credited for a background vocalist. And then this person posted details of the rip, which do contain a link to the song on the SoundCloud. Someone
I mean,
replied
to be
with their
rude,
own
but why do
song
you do
using the N-word.
YouTube? I don't know. I like to. I always liked the idea of, like, interacting with an audience, making people laugh, you know? I guess it just always felt like the thing I wanted to do, you know? I never really saw myself doing anything other than trying to entertain people. God dang it. But yeah, I think it's just, I've always wanted to entertain. It always felt like the thing that I should be doing. And, just haven't given up yet, I guess.
And they claim that it's also from one of the old BB No Money songs. And then someone else basically came out and said, you know, I'm not even a BB.
Yeah, this whole thing is like, it seems like a nothing burger. Oh, good. Then I've done, you know, then I've done my job. I used to be really lonely, honestly. I was in a not great relationship, to put it mildly. I really didn't like myself, and I felt all alone all the time. And I would watch the Game Grumps videos that were coming out at the time, and it made me not, you know, as sad as it might sound, it made me not feel so alone. And I think if I can help a few people feel lonely, feel like they're, you know, with a friend, that's good enough for me. You know, that makes me feel like I've won. I've done the right thing. I don't really see this ever like being a job or getting big. I'd like it to. That'd be cool. You know, it'd be fun to have more people to interact with and like to be able to, you know, put even more time into it. And, you know, lately I've decided that I'm going to just put more time into it. That's why I'm sitting here now. Because I have a bad habit of just sort of going to sleep, taking nice long depression naps. So I figure instead of doing that, I should be trying to do the thing I want to do. So here I am. Zap. 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 That little ball getting left behind is super useful. 1 second, let me find another find something else to watch. Sure.
Hey, before we start the video, I just want to make something abundantly clear. I like gay guys. When I see a guy who is gay, I think, I like that. That guy is gay, and that is a-okay. He does gay stuff, and that's cool as hell. However, I like gay guys. However, it's probably not a great sentence. So I like gay guys. I myself am bisexual, so sometimes I'm even attracted to gay guys. I know, crazy, right? However, there is a specific type of gay guy that just kind of fucking gets under my skin. These dudes are sometimes referred to as mean girl twinks, or evil twinks, or demon twinks. Basically, it's a specific type of twink who tends to have a massive ego that is absolutely not earned whatsoever, and they make it their entire personality to be as mean and loud and abrasive as possible. And a lot of times these evil twinks are also massive pick-me's who will throw other minorities under the bus to try to like gain acceptance from society as a whole. I would say that Jeffree Star falls under this archetype, or the conservative TikToker Christian Walker, if you remember him, or that dude Milo Yiannopoulos, that fucking asshole. I would say that these evil twinks are often a symptom of the cycle of abuse, where they were probably bullied as a child for being gay, but then when they get older and they gain some level of acceptance, usually from white girls, they then decide to become the bullies and act like massively annoying dickheads to everyone around them. I've seen some people explaining this phenomenon with the phrase, "You're not Regina George, you're just George," which I find pretty funny. Basically, these twinks want to give off the cool, collected, mean girl energy of Regina George from the movie Mean Girls, but usually they just kind of end up giving off the energy of a yapping chihuahua who never shuts the fuck up. Now, the nuance of this is that there is a stereotype of gay men being annoying, and I don't want to play into that stereotype, but I believe in equality, which means that everyone equally has the ability to be annoying. And the thing that I find most annoying is when these twinks decide to become massive pick-me's who throw other minorities under the bus because they think it makes them bad bitches, when really it just makes them bad people. And we'll be looking at one of the most recent examples of this evil twink archetype today, the TikToker Peyton Piper.
I've never heard of this guy, but I like this topic.
Rage Gator, which of course is short for gay rage baiter. He likes to start most of his TikToks with some sort of inflammatory statement that will either piss people off or at least surprise them enough to want to keep watching.
I have the fattest crush on Donald Trump. Bring back bullying. I don't understand why I'm getting banned for saying slurs. You're not ugly, you're just black. Abortion is murder. I wish I met Lily Tino in person so I can misgender him.
So, yeah.
Oh my
not a
god.
fan of this vibe. I think you can get your point across without screaming directly into my face
That's
and
a
making me feel like
scummy
I can
little
smell your
fuckbag.
brace's breath through the screen.
And if you're still fighting bitches after high school, you're not scary, you're just a ghetto bitch. Is there a window open? Who said that? And they were like, oh, you mean black people. When did I say black people? Nothing that I said was talking about black people.
Jesus Christ, please back the fuck
Oh my
up.
god.
Black people, black people, black people. Now,
I
I'm
don't
not
like the
saying
way
that this dude is
that he said
racist
that.
necessarily, but the tone of voice that he uses when he says black people reminds me of fucking Adam Driver from the movie Black Klansman.
Yeah, this dude. Oh my god, that movie was so good. I enjoyed the shit out of that movie. I love when they fuck everybody up at the end. Like at the end of a Tarantino film, you get the cathartic watching of all the bad guys getting taken down.
Peyton, the word is black, not black. I think if when you talk about black people, you suddenly start sounding like you're trying to fucking puke up a hairball, maybe you should rethink the way that this makes you come across. If I was like, guys, come on, I have absolutely nothing against the gays, I think my tone of voice seems to imply that, maybe
I have nothing against the gays.
actually might have a little bit of a something against the gays. Now, to be fair to
Oh,
Peyton,
fuck
even
me,
though
that
his
was so
videos start
funny.
off with these inflammatory opening statements, he often then goes on to clarify that he isn't actually trying to say anything bigoted. For example, in this video that he starts off by saying, "You're not ugly, you're just black."
You're not ugly, you're just black.
He then goes on to clarify that he thinks it's bad to think that black people are ugly just because they're black. Thank you, Peyton, for this revolutionary take. I was under the impression that it's actually good to think that black people are ugly just because they're black. You have cured me of my racism. So
Wowie.
even though in a lot
Wowie,
of
chat.
videos
He's
he
been
tries
cured.
to come across like he isn't bigoted, in other videos he tries to make like a semi-progressive take, while at the same time just saying ignorant, stupid shit.
The most
Like this
progressive
video
take
where he
ever
says
is to
that
shut up.
technically abortion is murder.
Abortion is murder. By definition, look it up. The unlawful killing of another individual is technically murder, but I think it's really interesting. People want to make moral arguments with legal terms. Laws that were only established like 5 years ago when the trigger bans happened. You can't do that, especially when you elected a felon, friend.
Okay, so I think the point that he's trying to make is that even if abortion is technically murder by the definition of the word murder, that doesn't necessarily make it immoral. However, he just clearly does not know what he's talking about. Yes, legally, the definition of murder is the unlawful killing of another human being. So if you're in a state where abortion is illegal, yes, it could technically be murder by the legal definition of the word murder. However, when pro-choice people say that abortion
Here's a
isn't
motherfucker.
murder, they're using the philosophical definition of the word murder, not the legal definition. The philosophical definition of the word murder is the unjustified killing of another human being. And pro-choice people believe that the termination of a fetus is justified, usually on the grounds of bodily autonomy or consciousness or a combination of the two. So when pro-choice people say that abortion is not murder, they are using the philosophical definition of the word murder. Whether an action is morally justified or whether it is legal is two separate conversations, because legality doesn't always map onto morality. And Peyton seems to understand this, and this is the point that he's trying to make in his video, but he doesn't understand that there are two separate definitions of the word murder. This dude clearly just Googled the definition of the word murder and then thought, ooh, this will make a good hot take for my TikTok where I can say that technically abortion actually is murder. Basically, he's doing an actually that isn't even accurate. If you're gonna do
An
an
inaccurate
then your
actually.
actually needs to actually be accurate. This plays directly into what I said before about these evil twinks having inflated egos where they think they understand things a lot better than they actually do. Which is especially ironic because Peyton himself has scolded people for speaking confidently about things that they aren't actually educated about.
But y'all literally repeat what you read in the comment section because you don't know how to do research and you just, it sticks in your memory. You're like, oh, that's a good argument. I should repeat that. No, you shouldn't. You should never, don't repeat something unless you know what it means.
That is a great point, Peyton. I think
agree
you
with
should
that
definitely
sentiment.
take your own advice. And look, this is a young guy, and everyone speaks confidently sometimes about things that they aren't actually educated about. Like, I've gotten a lot of shit because a few years ago I confidently stated in a video that Hitler hated Israel while not realizing that Israel wasn't even founded until after World War II. And now, after learning more about Israel, turns out Hitler might have actually kind of liked some of the stuff that Israel's been getting up to these days. So anyway, my point is that I think it would be pretty hypocritical for me to like destroy this guy just because he got a few things wrong. However, when you do get something wrong, I think the important thing is the ability to admit that you're wrong and have humility. And from what I've seen, Peyton is definitely lacking in the humility department. But I didn't just make this video because I find
Yard
Peyton
work all
annoying
done.
and because I
Hey,
think
there
he
you
should
go.
be
Now
more
you get to
humble
kick
and
back,
educate himself more
reward
before he
yourself.
yaps about certain
A
topics.
yoo-hoo.
No, I made this video because
Some
I think
Culvers.
he's genuinely anti-trans, and he's recently gotten himself into controversy because he thinks it would be good to misgender the TikToker Lily Tino.
I wish I
Why?
met Lily Tino in person so I could misgender him.
That's shitty.
like pointing the camera at people. Are you gonna say that to the camera? What's your name?
It's such a
Yes,
shitty
I will.
way to
Lily Tino,
be.
you're a man. My name is Peyton. What's up? Or canceling me because I said Lily Tino was a man. Go look her up on Twitter and tell me that's not a man.
So Peyton really wants to meet Lily Tino in person and misgender her because if you look at Lily Tino, you can clearly see that Lily Tino is actually a man. Peyton seems to think that some trans women are valid, but other trans women aren't valid because if you look at them, you can clearly
That's
tell that they're
really
men.
shitty.
I wonder if he would apply this standard to other members of the LGBT community. If there was a gay guy who was more like stereotypically masculine and he didn't like stereotypical gay guy things or dress like a stereotypical gay guy, would it then be okay to say, actually, you're not gay? I mean, just look at you. You are clearly not gay. I will not accept your gay identity until I've seen your penis go into a man's butthole. Like, that would be dumb, right? This is why you can't judge someone's sexuality or their gender just by looking at them. Now, I'm fully aware that me criticizing Peyton for this and me saying that I don't think you should misgender Lily Tino just because she doesn't look feminine enough will inevitably lead to people thinking that I'm defending Lily Tino.
Nah, fuck them.
I know this might be a bit
He's a bitch.
controversial to say, but I believe that Lily Tino is a bad person.
Yeah.
I know, crazy hot take for someone on YouTube to say. I don't think it's good to loudly talk about penises and vaginas and balls while you're at Disney.
Oh,
and you
that,
know there
yeah,
are
God,
children
that
nearby.
one, yeah.
I don't think it's
She
good to
should
take
not be
photos
allowed.
in the women's restroom
Yeah.
without these women's consent. And I
Mhm.
don't think that it's good to play into basically every negative stereotype that conservative people have about trans women in order to rage bait people for fame and attention. I think that Lily Tino is a real piece of shit and she's obviously not a good representative of the trans community. But I just hope people are aware of the pattern of what's happening here. Every few years or so, there's a new trans woman who gets singled out on the internet as proof that all trans women are evil. Quite a few years ago, it was this trans woman named Jessica Yaniv. In the past few years, I would say it's been Keffels, and I would also say that Chris Chan is another example of someone that people use to attack trans women. Basically, the cycle goes,
Which is
a trans
ridiculous
woman
because
does some
a lot of the
genuinely
time
bad
it seems
stuff,
like Chris
the
Chan's
internet
not
latches
even
onto that
aware.
trans woman as proof that all trans women are dangerous. That trans woman gets relentlessly bullied, and then the cycle repeats itself. And then if you call out this cycle, people will then accuse you of defending these trans women's bad behavior. Now, I definitely think it is very stupid to say, don't
Parents brought
criticize these
home
trans
Culver's
women
last night. I
because
didn't get
criticizing
any.
trans women helps
That's
transphobes.
fucked up, man.
This
You
is
should
obviously dumb. Trans women are
no,
not
you
above
should, no, you
criticism
shouldn't.
just
Sorry,
because they're
wow, I almost got
trans,
myself
just
in
like
trouble.
Peyton is not above criticism just because
You
he's
should
gay,
fight them in a
and
video
I'm
game.
not above criticism
You should
just
challenge
because
them
I'm a
1v1
fat,
smash.
non-binary bisexual who's been wondering recently if he might be low-key autistic. And I will even admit that sometimes people on the left can be too quick to defend trans women. Like when Chris Tyson was recently exposed for being a weirdo, I saw some leftists jumping to defend her, which I thought was really dumb. And Keffels has even accused me of being transphobic before because I criticized her. All I'm saying is to be aware of the hysteria on the internet.
I like this
surrounding
Tesla
trans women
dome.
who
I've never
are
used this one
genuinely
before.
bad people, which is then used to delegitimize all trans people. And I think it is good to criticize Lily Tino. It's not bad to make fun of Lily Tino, but I think that this mass hysteria surrounding Lily Tino can sometimes go a bit overboard. That's all I'm saying. And just like I don't think it makes sense to misgender trans people just because they don't look trans enough, I also don't think it makes sense to misgender trans people just because they're bad people. Again, I don't think people
Yeah,
would
I mean-
appreciate if people use this logic.
Here's the thing. This has been such an issue with social media is people think that because someone's a bad person, you can say whatever you want about them. Like, you can use like slurs and hate speech to hurt them. And it's like, oh, well, wait, what are you so upset about? They're a bad person. And it's like, yeah, but the language you're using like you're exposing your bigotry in your words, like, because you're not attacking them for the things that they're doing, you're attacking them for these like personal things that they can't control. And that always gives away whether or not a criticism is genuine or if it's coming from a place of bad faith. A genuine criticism, or even a genuine insult, like towards a person, is going to be about them instead of about like, you know, their sexuality or their race or like their religion or some stupid shit like that. But people online love to do that. They love to just jump straight to the like, I'm gonna say the worst possible thing I can. And it's like, why?
for gay dudes. You know, I support gay marriage until I find out that a gay guy's a bad person. Once you do bad things as a gay guy, your marriage license should be revoked. So just like I don't think that gay marriage is conditional based on a person's morality, I also don't think that gender is conditional based on a person's morality. We would never say that a cis person has to lose their gender if they commit a crime. Otherwise, there would be no genders in prison. Step aside, alligator Alcatraz.
That's what we should do.
It's time for agender Alcatraz.
Agender
now,
Alcatraz.
Do I think that misgendering one trans woman like Lily Tino,
Oh, you're
who
having
is a
some ramen?
genuinely
Man, I
bad
haven't had
person, is
ramen
like
in a
world-ending
mean minute.
war crime? No.
Oh,
In the grand scheme
I
of
never
things,
cook
I don't really
like
care that much if Lily
shouldn't
Tino's
anymore.
feelings get hurt. The thing that I do care about is the precedent this sets when you spread this message
I miss
to
cooking in the
millions of
kitchen.
people, because this gives your followers the green light to start misgendering trans people in their lives if you
Yep.
decide that those trans people either don't pass well enough or they're
That's
bad
another
enough
thing
people.
about it is that
Like,
when
I
you
can
start
only
doing that, you're
imagine how
giving
many
everyone
trans women
around you.
and
Like I said,
trans
you're
girls
exposing
these
your
days
bigotry.
get
You're
called
signaling
Lily
like, oh,
Tino
this is
as
how
a
I
way to
feel about
bully
these
them if
people.
they don't
And
pass well
it's
enough.
almost like you're
So
glad that the person is messing up just for the chance to shit all over
that
him.
he wants to meet Lily Tino in person so that he can misgender her. So he made this follow-up.
For canceling me because I said Lily Tino was a man.
Oh, you don't like ramen? Damn, I'm sorry to hear that,
Men
man.
do not belong in
That's
female
rough.
spaces no matter what they identify as. And I do like that is not basic human decency. Lily Tino is
That
a
is
biological
rough,
male.
my friend.
Lily Tino compared trans women and biological women to
I don't know if I was eating it every day like I used to, I probably wouldn't like it very much, but man, some would be good right now.
fundamentally different.
Whoa, you're telling me that there are differences between trans women and cis women? I had no idea. Thank you so much for educating me, Peyton. Obviously, there are differences between trans women and cis women. That's why we put the adjectives trans and cis before the word women.
Trying a new
because
kind,
they
oh
are
snap.
not exactly the same. If they were exactly the same, then there would be no need for these adjectives. I'm sure Lily Tino made some dumbass analogy in one of her videos that didn't really make any sense, but that's the whole point of Lily Tino's content. She makes dumbass analogies to rage bait people for attention. And the fact that Peyton said men do not belong in female spaces no matter what they identify as clearly shows that his opinions extend to all trans women, not just Lily Tino. So by criticizing him, again, I am not trying to defend Lily Tino. I'm trying to defend against the ideas that he is pushing to all of his audience, which will make them more anti-trans. Peyton then goes on to say that there's a trans woman who debated Candace Owens, who in his opinion is an example of a real
What kind are you
trans
trying?
woman.
Go watch the Candace Owens trans woman debate. I agree with everything that that trans woman said. Not Candace Owens, she's a little bit too crazy. But listen, that is trans women, not Lily
Oh,
Tino.
the creamy chicken.
watch this
Okay,
debate,
that's
and
cool.
yeah, this trans
That one's
woman
not bad.
certainly
I think I've had
passes
that one
better than
before.
Lily Tino, and she seems like she's a better person than Lily Tino.
I'm
but
usually
again,
a
I
beef
just don't
person
think it
myself.
logically
I'm
makes
basic as
sense
hell.
to define gender based on how someone passes or how good of a
I have like
person
issues
someone
with
is. I
food
think
where
that
if it's
gender
like
is
something I
defined
can
by
make
someone's
myself,
internal sense of
a lot of the
self.
time, like with
Lily Tino
ramen,
could
I'm not a big
possibly
fan
be
of like the
lying
ramen
about
you get
identifying as a trans
at
woman.
like a
There is
ramen
always a
shop. I mean, I
possibility
like
that
it.
Lily
I
Tino
just,
is lying about
if I
being
wanted to
trans
have
for
ramen, what I
attention,
probably
but I just
wanted
don't really
was
believe in accusing people of
like
lying
actual
without
or
concrete
like
evidence that they're lying. And when
like
you say
the
that
instant
men
ramen,
don't
like the
belong in female
packages.
spaces, no matter what they
That's just
identify
kind of how
as, does this also
kind of how I
apply to
am.
this
Like I also
trans
really
woman
like
who you
McDonald's.
consider one
I
of
would
the
rather
good
eat
ones?
McDonald's
Does she
actual
also
food
not
most of the
belong in
time.
female spaces? Do you think that she
Finally
also
finished
shouldn't
this,
be allowed
jeez.
to use the women's restroom? I know that when you say men don't belong in female spaces, no matter what they identify as, you think you're trying to defend cis women and give them a safe space. But the thing is, the purpose of safe spaces is to keep people safe. And from what I've seen, there's no evidence to suggest that keeping trans women out of women's restrooms actually keeps cis women more safe on average. According to this study, Gender Identity Non-Discrimination Laws in Public Accommodations, a review of evidence regarding safety and privacy in public restrooms and changing rooms, they found that passing a law making it legal for trans women to use the restroom of their choice did not lead to any increase in the rates of violence towards women in these restrooms. Now, of course, you are going to get the occasional freaks like Lily Tino who do decide to do bad things in the women's restroom, like take pictures of women without their consent, but cis women also sometimes commit crimes and do bad shit in women's restrooms. What matters are the statistical trends, not the outliers. Well, then you might say, okay, even if it isn't statistically more dangerous, what if cis women just feel uncomfortable sharing a restroom with a trans woman? The issue with this argument is that there are many cis women who do feel perfectly comfortable sharing restrooms with trans women, and if you segregate restrooms by sex instead of by gender, you would be forcing trans men into the women's restrooms. I think if most women saw this trans dude walking into the women's restroom, they would not feel comfortable with this, and they wouldn't just be like, oh well,
Damn,
he
had to get
probably
saved
has
by the
XX
relic.
chromosomes, so it's fine. Personally, I do think that we should care about cis women's feelings, and when cis women talk about their comfort levels, I don't think we should just immediately dismiss them and accuse
cool.
them of being transphobic, but I think we also need to take trans women's comfort levels into account.
I'm
We
gonna take
also
the
need to
prestige
take into
mode.
account
That's
the
cool.
comfort levels of cis women who wouldn't feel comfortable sharing a restroom with trans men, and we need to take trans men's comfort levels into account who don't want to be forced to use the women's.
Alright, I need to urinate real quick. I'm just gonna throw up the "we'll be right back" screen. That way you're not just watching nothing. But I'm just gonna go pee, so I'll be right back.
I love that it just fires at random and does that.
Yeah, it shoots at like any targets within 100 meters. It's wild. Okay, cool. It's already
Oh,
marked.
can we stop at Dairy Queen?
No, there's no Dairy Queen. You have
But I
Dairy
need
Queen
ice
money?
cream for my A&W.
Oh God.
Oh, great.
Thank you.
There's a whole nother supply pack right here. that I
Oh,
called
there
in.
they are.
Oh, I can't wear that.
That's who's whispering at me in Robot Ease. There's a whole things over there.
Oh, yes there is. That was sick. I just killed Alex. Take it down. Take it down. The laser's not killing it. The laser killed it. Laser's killing that one too.
Laser does last quite a bit. Yeah, it ended up getting it. And now it's going down to burn the people.
Oh, big guy, Alex, turn around.
Oh, railgun.
Oh, that works.
There you go.
Oh my God.
Popped out of it.
No way, that's awesome.
Yeah, you pop out and then you can do it.
Orbital inbound.
Oh, that's good. Keep driving. No way. That's gonna kill us, isn't it?
Get out, get out.
Ah! Been yeeted.
Don't look away. If you look away, the bots win. You gotta stare at it. You gotta stare at the flag, Dan. Here you go. No, stare at the flag.
I am staring at the flag.
There we go.
Ta-da.
Ow! Oh, we're leaving.
Oh God. Get to the ship.
Let me in.
It did not just land on you.
Well, it did, but it didn't.
So the Mountain Dew just slaps.
Yeah. This Mountain Dew slaps about as well as a abusive stepfather.
Hungry things. And then head towards the extract.
Here. Reloading.
Running.
Which is a little easier now that I picked up your supply pack.
Yeah. Oh my fucking God! Every time.
Did you not see that one?
No, my big fucking fat ass cheeks that are clapping in the wind are in my way when I'm running. And a fucking Gatlin barrage.
Stim, stim, stim! Stim dab you! Like an ADHD child! Stim! Oh dear Christ!
Oh my God.
Oh man, no, I dropped my
Baby nothing. I couldn't one-shot a fucking thing if I shot it in the face at point-blank range. I'm surprised there wasn't 7 tanks, 13 airstrikes, and 4 just giant dicks hitting me in the chin.
Well, just think, once we beat this, it'll be impossible, and maybe there will be.
Go on. No.
There'll be all the dicks hitting you in the chin that you could ever imagine.
Oh no.
How many requisition slips do I have right now?
Oh, I'm dead.
We have Dan. Come here.
Yes. What's up?
I dropped a rare sample.
Look that way.
Alex, you are not. Alex is dead.
Howdy, howdy, I'm back. I think our main thing is gonna be watching this now. I don't really feel like playing anything right now, so...
Restroom. You can't just say, listen to women when they tell you that they're uncomfortable, but then the only women you want me to listen to are the anti-trans women. The phrase, listen to women, sounds nice on paper, but the issue is that sometimes different groups of women have conflicting interests, which is why we have to use democracy to resolve these conflicts. Anyway, I believe that a world where we allow trans people to use the restrooms that they want to use is preferable to a world where we force them to use restrooms they don't want to use. And I don't think that some cis women feeling uncomfortable is a valid enough reason to go against this, because if we do, we have to fuck over trans women, trans men, and the cis women who don't feel comfortable sharing restrooms with trans men.
I talk shit about Lily Tina when I get hate comments. The most I've ever gotten. I click on the profile, it says they, thee, thy, them, zog, self. What the fuck does that even mean? You don't even know who you are. I'm like, you're not a boy or a girl. You're a lunatic. You need to be locked up, put in an institution. Bring back institutionalizing people. And I'm not talking about like the regular run-of-the-mill special people. No, I'm talking about the people who literally think that they have multiple people inside their head. They identify as multiple people. The DID system thing. Bring back bullying. We fucked up as a society when we said, no bullying, that's not okay. We don't bully people for things that are normal, but that shit's not normal.
Bring back bullying, said the most stereotypically bullyable person on the entire planet. It's just so funny when twinks like this say to bring back bullying while not being aware that if we do bring back bullying,
They're
they will
first.
be some of the first people to be
Yeah, I
on
mean,
the
just-
entire planet.
Like, look at this guy. Look at this guy. I got bullied relentlessly when I was younger, like when I was like in elementary school, especially. I would still bully this man. I would bully. 10 out of 10 would bully again.
It's just so funny when twinks like this say to bring back bullying while not being aware that if we do bring back bullying, they will be some of the first people to be bullied. You are a nerdy, four eyes, glasses wearing braces faced twink with one of the most annoying voices I have ever heard.
This will be
You
fun
are
to watch.
the literal poster child of a gay nerd from an 80s movie who would get their head shoved into a toilet by the bullies. And look, I realize that I am also
100%
pretty
no.
bullyable.
Wait, hold on. Okay. This guy would get picked on, maybe like pushed, but like, that guy's going in a locker. This dude's going in a locker. Come on. Come on. He's getting stuffed in the locker. For sure. For sure. I'm not saying he should. I'm just saying he is.
Bullyable. I'm relatively fat, I don't have a great hairline, my voice is also pretty annoying, and I literally wear a suit in my fucking YouTube videos like a pretentious douchebag. I am also a poster child for being bullied, which is why I try not to throw bricks in a glass house. But if you really want to bring back bullying, I guess we can try that out, but I don't think you're gonna be happy with the results. And what do you mean when you say that we should only bully people who are not normal?
That shit's not normal.
Throughout all of history, the people who have been bullied are the ones that are not normal. You were just lucky enough to be born into a time where your twink ass is seen as normal by a lot of people. But yeah, let's lock up anyone who Peyton thinks isn't normal. After President Trump,
Yeah, that
let's
guy
get
should be
President
in charge.
Peyton in there to lock up all the undesirables like non-binary people or people with dissociative identity disorder. And look, are some non-binary people on social media cringe and annoying?
Yes.
Sure. Are there?
Yes. Yes. As a non-binary person on the internet, yes, they can be extremely cringe and annoying.
A few people on TikTok who convince themselves that they have dissociative identity disorder for attention? Absolutely. But if our standard is that we need to lock up anyone
I
who
think grown adults pretending to have disorders is also annoying. Like, that's teenager shit, man.
is cringe, annoying, and does shit for attention, then Peyton will be the first one in line to the cringe gulags. And again,
Cringe gulag. Oh man, they're gonna get me too, I know it.
I know that Peyton is young and he's probably riding high off of getting so much attention on TikTok for being a bully, but trust me, in the long run, trying to build a social media career off of being a bully is just not sustainable. And if we keep pushing for a world with more and more and more bullying, that is just going to bite you in the ass. It's like the gays for Trump who wanted to get Trump elected because they thought he was just going to be anti-trans, but now it turns out that the Supreme Court is considering overturning gay marriage. Throwing other minorities under the bus is just not a good long-term strategy if your goal is to improve your own life. So maybe when we see people on social media who might be a bit cringe and annoying, we should try to strike a balance between giving them genuine criticism, but also showing them empathy and understanding. Because at the end of the day...
That is, okay. I really like this guy's video. I'm glad I liked it. I think I'm gonna hit a subscribe too. The line between shitting on somebody and criticizing them is so important. Because if you're just insulting somebody, they're never going to listen to it. I'm not saying, like, sandwich your, like, oh, compliment, insult, compliment. No, like, the important thing is just to be genuine and to be, yeah, I guess empathetic's a good word, you know? How would you want to hear that what you were doing isn't great? You know what I mean? And I think that's important.
I care about twinks like Peyton, and I do not want to regress to a world where people like him get thrown into lockers and get their heads shoved into toilets. And while I completely agree that Lily Tino is a bad person, we need to be careful not to get so wrapped up in the hysteria around bad trans people that we end up throwing innocent people under the bus. And I think all these twinks who so badly want to be like Regina George need to remember what happens to Regina George.
You can take that fake apology and shove it right up your hairy...
Oh my god, I didn't know she got hit by a bus.
To throw other minorities under the bus, eventually that exact same bus is coming for you, bitch. Thank you for sticking around till the end of the video. If you want to access exclusive videos from me, consider becoming a member of this channel or a member over on Patreon. I know I talked about trans issues quite a bit in this video. Well, the other video that I recently released also talks about trans issues, but it gives more of a philosophical breakdown of trans identity. So if that sounds interesting, consider becoming a member for just $3 a month. And an especially big thank you to my Godbeard level members, Scaries, Jacob Curl, Nova Roma, and Kelly Wright. And I will see you soon with part 2 of my series about that crazy lady Kendra who fell in love with her psychiatrist. Alright, see you then.
Can you not bite my little poo? It's a dirty paw, let's get out of here. I'm actually kind of stoked to watch this. No, no, wait. We're gonna watch this, but hold on. Fuck, keeps happening here. Yeah, Nintendo. Now it's gonna crash again because I clicked away from it. It didn't crash this time. I'm gonna play Yoshi Story while we watch this video, because I love this game. It's genuinely one of my favorite games from when I was a kid.
Mr. Beast, specifically for his handling of the Team Water situation. After nearly a year ago, Mr. Beast took to a live stream to promote his Team Water charity and encouraged other streamers to donate, sometimes pressuring them to donate more and more. Jinxie started the criticism by saying that the Team Water stream was one of the most uncomfortable and weird streams he's ever been a part of, saying he felt awkward pressuring streamers to donate and saying Jimmy is going to end up just getting all the credit for everything anyway. Stable Ronaldo and other streamers like XQC who were present also chimed in, backing up Jinxie's criticism, with Aiden Ross also joining the mix, even revealing the alleged celebrity who never showed up to the stream because of his presence. And additionally, Aiden accused Jimmy of promising him things that he never fulfilled. But there's a lot to get into, so let's just jump in. Welcome to the internet versus the Team Water stream. It starts when he tweets out this clip of Jinxie with the caption, Jinxie calls MrBeast's Team Water stream one of the most uncomfortable weird streams of all time.
One of the most, like, uncomfortable, like, weird streams of all time, bro. Basically, this
My
is
input
all
fucked.
this stream was, bro. The
My
epitome of the
input's
stream
fucked. God dang
was
it.
basically just MrBeast pressuring people into donating to Team Water, which is a great cause. But at the end of the day, let's be honest, chat. If Team Water raises, whatever, like $100 million, who gets the credit for it, bro? Who's gonna make the tweet and say, oh, this is Team Water and we raised this amount of money? Who gets all the credit for this, chat? MrBeast. Exactly. So basically, we're all donating. He's getting all the credit, but we're all getting pressured into donating in front of, hundreds of thousands of people. When you combine all the streams, you're talking 200,000 people are watching this live. And at the end of the day, I kind of thought about it, and it's like, well, at the end of the day, it goes to a good cause, so I don't really care. Like, it goes to a good cause. But that's all this stream is, bro. This is one of the, like, this stream was just excruciating, bro. Okay.
The man.
And every time somebody would join the call, bro, it was just like,
And Connor replies, he's 100% right. No one should be pressured into giving money no matter how rich they are. And Kandu says, fuck no, fuck millionaires. They should be hyper pressured to donate to good causes. To actual good causes though, not that BLM BS. In return of Tay says, it's not a good cause. Trillions of dollars have been dumped into Africa over multiple decades and they still live
Alright,
in
we're
the
gonna go to
Stone
surprise.
Age. None of the pumps or wells will be maintained because the people are too low IQ to do it. And Samurai says, trust me,
Our
the
lucky
money
one
never
was
reaches the people
bananas?
there
Was that
due
what
to
it was? We're gonna
corruption.
be Yellow Yoshi then.
Kavos quote tweeted by saying, have to agree with Jinxie. The stream was weird and felt uncomfortable with how much he was pressuring others to donate. MrBeast can raise money in numerous ways. Don't have to press people to donate in front of millions. MrBeast then replied to the situation by replying to Yeet's tweet and saying, we were streaming in front of hundreds of thousands of people and the clips got millions of views, so they did get credit. Regardless, I don't feel bad for asking multimillionaires publicly to help people drinking dirt water get access to clean water so they can live longer. And Bluesdank replies, yeah, realistically, I don't see how anyone can say MrBeast gets all the credit when it's literally tagged as Team Water. Click RVL says, wanting credit for helping people in need is crazy. All these people care about is their public image. and
Yeah,
it says
that,
a lot.
I mean, that's
And Tim
really
replies
the
to
thing,
MrBeast
like,
by
you
saying,
need...
this is kind of worded as if Jinxie didn't say 2 times in that clip that he ultimately acknowledges that it's going to a good cause. I get this kind of reply as like an easy slam dunk, but most people, including some you did this stream with, would say this stream was awkward. Cube Dimension says, whoa, wild Jimmy, you shouldn't have pressured Asmongold to donate anything in front of everyone, especially when his literal father had just died. That was not
that's
a good
kinda
time
effed
to
up.
ask him. That's the only real thing I feel you did that was really unacceptable there. Then Fearbuck also tweets out MrBeast's response with the caption, MrBeast responds after Jinxie said he felt uncomfortable and pressured when MrBeast called him to donate to Team Water, and Need Money for SVJ says, sounds like MrBeast found the perfect scam.
Yes.
He made the charity pretty much impossible to say no to and made sure by calling them live, putting them on the spot. Now we have zero clue where that money is actually going. And Gary replies, lol. Yes, a little bit of research would have prevented you from making this embarrassingly false response as to the transparency of where that money goes and the accountability of it.
I love this game, man. It's so cute.
Saying established reputation, founded in 1981.
So basically, you're just trying to eat fruit, but there's like, there's a lot you can do. Like, there's a white shy guy on one of the levels who I haven't found. I think he might have actually been on the very first level, and I screwed up. But
and public disclosure. Tante tweets out this clip with the caption, XQC speaks out against Team Water after Jinxie said he felt pressured and extremely uncomfortable by MrBeast to donate.
Okay. I said it while it was live, and I said it afterwards. I said, I'll be honest with you, I thought that the methods were a little bit too much. And not just a little bit, it was way too much. I said it at the time when it was still live that I was uncomfortable with it. After, and I said it multiple times, that I think that the method was just not okay. Like, just the fact that, like,
what's going on here?
And re-bringing up somebody and then going back onto the same people. I think it was too much, and I think
Little Yoshi can sniff.
the reading the room was just not happening. And I also feel like, and I think MrBeast knows this already, like the reading the room of that room with me and Aiden was not good either. Like me and Aiden kept pausing and looking at each other and looking at him as in like, yo, can we do like a read the room check? And it's like it would just not connect. You can go back into the VOD at least 10 times.
What does this say?
We pause. I look at Aiden.
Ground pound to load up the melon boxes, then carry.
And I I think it's just maybe it's just maybe a YouTube personality. Or you think like I think when he said, "Oh, dude, let's extend the stream," and then I pause. I'm like, "Yeah, we could do that." And I look at Aiden, and then he's like, "So basically we're in," and I'm like, "Well, I need to kind of look at some stuff to see if we can do it." Oh, so we're gonna get in there and do that then. So we're good. I'm like, "Yeah." Well, bro, you know what I mean? Like, bro, it's like read the room checks, and you know, like
reading in between the lines.
Yeah, you know, like the circle in Dead by Daylight, where there's skill check, and he just misses every check.
Salt also tweets out this clip of the caption: Stable Ronaldo went off on Mr. Beast after his response
Sick,
to
got all
Jinxie
of
saying
them.
he was
Let's go.
uncomfortable and pressured during the Team Water situation.
Oh, did you see me go into lock-in mode there?
Holy, he took the mainstream route, so he automatically wins because the majority will agree with him. Jeez Louise. There's a difference between asking millionaires for donations and then asking... I'll give a perfect example. You asked Rug to donate. Rug said he'll donate 10K. You said it wasn't enough, so you made him donate more. That shit is weird. I agree with what Jinxie's saying. You guys put me in a group chat, and I said, yeah, I'll donate. And then you guys asked me, how much do you want to donate? I said, oh, I don't remember how much I said when they finally got me in the call, but they wanted me to donate like $100,000 to $150,000. And then you also literally...
That's wild. They really did just kind of like capture them and...
Yeah, I donated $50. And it was awesome, bro. I gave 50 years of free water. And then he also, did he not like never hit Aiden Ross about like he took like all, like, I don't know, bro.
And Jacob.
Hello, everybody.
I'm gonna put on somebody that wouldn't really... I feel like they wouldn't care if I had them on as a little bit of background noise. Since it's like the music video.
Okay.
We are blessed, truly blessed on this day by...
Is there a way for me to just play... Oh, pardon. Feels bad to watch, like... Oh, here we go.
I cheated, and I'm okay with that.
I'm watching Pro Jared. If you've been on the internet for long enough, there's a strong chance you've at least heard
Is the gamer from Mars the same guy as Internet
the
Versus?
basic gist of the story. A video game reviewer who got accused of cheating on his wife and behaving inappropriately with fans, resulting in his name being dragged through the mud before he got a chance to set the record straight. But few are aware of all the peculiar details, and even fewer have bothered to keep up with the man after the initial controversy died down. Today I wanted to take a look back at the tale of Pro Jared, dissecting fact from fiction, and trying to figure out if anybody learned a lesson from what happened. But before we go any further in today's video, have you ever wanted to chat with Goku? Well, today's sponsor will help with that if it's the case. Polypat memories so you could pick up wherever.
Don't ever do that to me again, sir. That's a terrible ad.
Jared Knabenbauer, whose last name I will not attempt to pronounce again, was born on August 29th, 1985. From a young age, he had a love for video games, with a particular fascination being Japanese turn-based RPGs, such as Pokemon and Final Fantasy. As he got older, this interest combined with his professional life, as he got one of his first jobs at GameStop. There are a million horror stories online from people who had soul-crushing experiences working at the video game retail juggernauts, and Jared was no exception. Still, even if he didn't necessarily enjoy his time there, it provided the creative inspiration for his first major online project, a scripted comedy series called Name Tags in 2008. As you can guess, the show featured Jared and his friends as employees of a video game store. The style was pretty typical of the nerd comedy that was prominent in the 2000s, with jokes centering around characters who filtered everything in their lives through their gamer identity.
Good morning. I didn't hear you get up.
Name Tags was heavily influenced by the show Scrubs, with Jared's character narrating each episode and providing fantasy cutaway gags identical to the ABC sitcom. It's actually kind of funny to watch this series with that knowledge. While Scrubs provided a humorous yet heartfelt look at doctors and nurses working long, hard hours in a hospital, Name Tags treated the job of video game retail store employee with a similar level of importance.
It's a funny thing when you work in a place like this for a while. You meet so many people, and you start to think you know everyone. When in reality, you may not know somebody at all.
Name Tags was hosted on ScrewAttack.com, one of the most prominent gaming-related websites from that era of the internet. Even though the show itself didn't last very long,
I could end the level at any time by eating one more fruit, but I'm just trying to explore, honestly.
In 2009, he was hired as the manager of ScrewAttack's retro gaming store, GameAttack. This was another short-lived gig, but the up-and-coming internet star was able to leverage it into becoming regular on-screen talent for the website's other shows. Per the tradition of ScrewAttack, all of their major contributors were expected to take on a pseudonym, which took their first name and added an adjective to the front of it. To that end, Jared became Pro Jared, reportedly based on his desire to come across as professional. By far, Jared's biggest claim to fame at ScrewAttack was as host of Hard News, a short-form video game news show designed to blitz through headlines as efficiently as possible, with episodes generally running for around 2 or 3 minutes. This is when the site's audience really got an opportunity to learn more about Jared, and a large number of them liked what they saw.
I hope my kids are eager to help you on your quests.
Described him as having a natural charisma, which made the young man incredibly watchable and allowed him to easily rise to the top. At the same time he was rising through the ranks at ScrewAttack, our gamer friend was also working on creating a name for himself. On September 17th, 2010, he uploaded his first video game review to his own independent YouTube channel. Even from his debut video, he had a very strong voice. He was already skilled at editing, pacing, and clearly mixing his opinions and sense of humor, even if some of these jokes may come across a little different in hindsight.
But at least they got the female lead right. I mean, look at her. She's got that gothic thing going for her. Long black hair, slender legs, and an open blouse to expose her excellent figure. Hell yes.
There are also a lot of superficial elements that stayed a part of Jared's brand for years to come, such as his shelf full of video games, his theme song, and his iconic blue shirt. Perhaps bolstered by the pre-existing viewers from his previous projects, the Pro Jared YouTube channel didn't take long to gain an audience of his own, and his debut
I like a few Pro Jared videos.
Over 1 million views. With his solo career on the rise, Jared soon joined another group called Normal Boots.
Story had barely started. To find happiness, the Yoshis needed to hurry. Balloon monsters tried to slow them down, but the Yoshis kept moving. Did they try to slow me down? I thought they were just helping me. Oh no, they did. The purple ones. Now the Yoshis were a little closer to finding the super happy tree. Let's go. Let's fucking go.
2012, he announced at the end of an episode of Hard News
the page turned, and the Yoshis grew happier. You goddamn right they did.
Solo projects. While this was framed at the time as a mutual split, in recent years, ScrewAttack's founder, Stuttering Craig, has come forward to say that Jared was actually fired from the company.
Listen to this last statement here.
That Craig recognized that my goals and ambitions do not line up with the future of ScrewAttack.
Let me translate that for you. Jared was incredibly selfish and nobody liked him in the office. That's true.
Damn.
He got booted.
A mutual agreement that it's time for me to move on.
Mutual in that he wasn't giving his best effort and it was time for him to go.
No matter what his reasons were for leaving though, it was undeniable that it was the right move for Jared's career. Over the next few years, his audience continued to grow, bolstered by his connections to the other rising stars at Normal Boots. By April of 2013, less than a year after leaving ScrewAttack, the Pro Jared channel had gained over 100,000 subs, and its growth would continue rapidly from there. As time went on, he became so notable in the gaming space that he was being asked to make appearances on other platforms, such as the Nickelodeon sitcom Game Shakers.
I even play it in the shower.
I like to believe Dan Schneider specifically asked for Jared here. The YouTuber was also a semi-frequent guest on the channel Game Grumps, appearing in several
Unusual
videos
place. If you use your nose, you'll find out why.
And friend of the collective. Big things were happening in Jared's personal life during this time too, as he got married to cosplayer and clothing designer Heidi O'Farrell in 2013. Being with her gave him the opportunity to do some modeling, showing off the costumes designed by his wife. If Jared's former colleagues at Screw Attack are to be believed, he also had a bit of an ego. The gaming reviewer had always been very deliberate about the public image he wanted to craft.
No, my pink Yoshi, no, give him
And this was yet
back.
another outlet to send that vibe
Y'all
to
are
his
some
audience.
hoes.
One of the biggest slept-upon examples of how Jared wanted the public to view
Alright,
him
only the
came in
real Yoshi can
2016
take care of
with the
this.
release of the game Azagao Academy, an official dating simulator
Oh.
featuring all of the members of Normal Boots as high school students. Which I
Oh.
might say in hindsight is a bit of an odd project. While most of the other YouTubers' descriptions for the game are just about them being nerdy and liking video games, Pro Jared's is strangely taken more seriously. Let me show you what I mean. John is one of the founding members of the Normal Boots Club and the head of the Drama Club. He adores bizarre retro games and loves his pet bird Jacques more than life itself. PPG, one of the founding members of the Normal Boots Club, is an easygoing, caring, and optimistic guy. He doesn't bother with school, instead focusing on important things like soccer and pinball. But then we get to the next one. Jared is a part-time model. Naturally, he is the most attractive person in school and knows it, often coming
What a
off
weird
as
thing to
vain,
say
fickle,
about
and
yourself.
shallow. Despite this, Jared truly cares for his friends, and the confidence he projects may not be as solid as it appears. While Jared was not involved with the development of this game, it needs to be considered that it was co-created by the wife of his friend, Peanut Butter Gamer. So it's safe to say that he had some input on how he was portrayed. By this point, Pro Jared was cemented in the online gaming space.
No,
While he had
go this
gained
way,
over
go this way,
a
go
million
this way, go this way.
subscribers by 2018, he was also accumulating some amount of resentment from those who viewed him as overly smug and full of himself. And it was exactly that sort of public perception
Gotta
that
walk
would
in the ball,
soon
gotta
come
walk in the
back
ball.
to haunt him. The true downfall began early in May of 2019 when people noticed
Yeah,
that all
this
of the
is-
videos on the Game Grumps channel involving Jared had been quietly removed. A few days later on the 8th, the gamer posted a statement on Twitter simply stating that he and his wife had filed for divorce and asked for privacy for both parties. While not much on its own, less than 30 minutes later, Heidi posted a tweet of her own. I recently learned that my husband, Pro Jared, had been f***ing Holly Conrad behind my back for months. I have no idea what announcement he just made because he blocked me. She included a screenshot showing that she had indeed been blocked by her former husband, and went on to allege even further wrongdoing as her thread went on, claiming he had isolated her from their friend group and had told her that he didn't even like the woman he was supposedly cheating on her with. Heidi said she
Well, I
had
mean,
images
that's
to back
usually
up
what
her
they
claims,
say.
but she did not share them. It's important to note here that Holly
I don't even
Conrad
like
was
them.
the
It's like the
ex-wife of
first
Ross
thing
O'Donovan
every
from Game
cheater
Grumps,
says. Are you kidding
as well
me?
as a YouTuber in her own right, being involved
Like-
with the gaming collective Polaris. It was also unclear whether or not she was still married to him at the time of the affair.
Jared, get the fuck away from my wife. I'll kill you.
Regardless, with such juicy bits of info, the general internet fell almost unanimously on the side of Heidi. The way Holly responded certainly didn't help her case either. She had replied sympathetically to Jared's initial divorce announcements, and following the growing response to Heidi's allegations, also released a vague statement that didn't elaborate much or provide any evidence in her own defense.
Ground pound to
I
load up the
understand
melon
some
boxes,
shit
then
is going
oh,
down
okay.
on the internet. If you want to believe a hyperbolic statement from someone you don't know on the internet with no previous background information and use it to demonize strangers, so be it. This isn't anyone's business but theirs. If it's worth anything, you all know me. I never hurt anyone and I only want the best and happiness for those around me. If you followed me for a long time, you know that. It goes without saying that this did nothing to stop the hate that was coming Holly's way. In fairness to her detractors, it's a little nonsensical for her to dismiss Heidi's claims by calling her someone you don't know on the internet, and then immediately try to defend herself by telling her fans that they know her. For his part, Ross stayed out of the drama almost entirely, only speaking up once to thank fans for worrying about him while also distancing himself from the whole ordeal.
And that was exactly when I stopped caring about the whole thing, because all I really cared about when I started hearing about it was Ross O'Donovan, because I'm a huge Game Grumps fan. I'll never deny that. I love the Game Grumps. They're probably my biggest inspiration in terms of the way I want my content to feel. And I was like, oh fuck, I'm gonna die. Oh, it was an invisible floor. Okay. Yeah, I was also going through some like personal things that like, yeah, it was, you know, and that was when I stopped caring about the situation. So this is where I stopped knowing things, and I'm like, I get to learn now.
On Heidi's side, though. Peanut Butter Gamer replied to her call-out post by simply saying,
Oh, I'm
"This
back
ain't
at the
it,
beginning.
Chief." This received an immense amount of backlash from people accusing him of making light of a serious situation. PBG quickly issued an apology the next morning, admitting that he had jumped the gun in order to defend his friend.
Okay, so
Realizing that public perception was overwhelmingly in her favor,
there we go.
O'Farrell continued to badmouth her ex-husband Jared over
Bam.
the following days. As if the accusations of cheating weren't bad enough, her next claim was far more severe. It's also true that he has been soliciting
Oh my god,
nudes from
Bean's
his
birthday
fans
is
for
on
years.
Thanksgiving.
I was there. In the beginning, it was a joke on Tumblr. Then it was its own Tumblr account just for nudes. It was ostensibly a body-positive space for consenting adults, and I approved on that basis. It kept escalating secretly. He started a
Here we go.
Snapchat for getting nudes from fans without telling me. I found out via a fan comment. I felt pressured to allow it even though I was uncomfortable. Anytime I gave him an inch, he took a mile. If the cheating allegations made people turn against Jared, this made him into a complete laughingstock. You must understand that at this point,
song is like a
because 100%
lullaby
of the
for my
public
heart.
narrative was being controlled by Heidi, there was
Hold on,
pretty
let's
much
shut this up for a second. The page turned, and the Yoshis grew happier. Ah, that brings my heart such freaking joy, man.
nobody speaking up on behalf of her
I
former
love
spouse.
it. I freaking love it.
Did was quickly shouted down by the mob. And then, of course, the memes began to roll in. Yeah, I'm a gamer. Cheat on my wife. Even though Farrell herself did not provide evidence of her former spouse's activities with fans, those who had been a part of the Tumblr and Snapchat accounts decided to start sharing screenshots of texts and photos they had received from the gaming creator. This is when things
frustration.
got really out of control.
I'm sure people
Naked
like watching.
pictures of the JRPG fan flooded social
Oh
media, becoming one
no.
of the biggest trends of that year. They basically acted as the next evolution of shock images, as it became a meme for people to trick their friends into looking at Pro Jared's genitals. There was also an unrelated photo that the video game reviewer had posted on Instagram back in 2017 of himself posing seductively while dressed as a Sailor Moon character that was being lumped in with the rest of the lewd images and used as further fuel to belittle him. If you weren't around during this time, it's almost unthinkable to imagine just how widespread and accepted this was by the public at large. There was practically nobody asking if things were going too far, as it was still revenge porn regardless of context. The universally agreed upon opinion was that Jared was a bad person and deserved all the humiliation he was receiving. This can be attributed to a couple factors. For one, while Jared's public statement had been vague and brief,
I'm so bad, chat.
Heidi had come in hot with specific allegations of wrongdoing. Even though she hadn't personally provided evidence, other people had been able to back up some of her claims. The second reason the story took off the way it did is because of Jared's previously established public perception of someone who was overly full of himself. The fact that he seemed to give off the same attitude as his public modeling photos and his lewd Snapchat messages
Oh, it
only
moves.
made them
I'm
funnier to the
supposed to
haters,
run
who
in
were
it.
already looking
Oh,
for
I'm
any
so
excuse
dumb.
to make fun of him. It certainly didn't
Oh,
help
I
that,
lost 2
and there's
Yoshis
just
for
no
nothing.
nice way to say this, but Jared has a unique physical appearance. Dozens of memes spread around comparing him to a worm. There were a few voices at the time trying to call people out for bullying, but they were drowned out by the flood of internet users who just wanted an excuse to make fun of someone, and still feel morally righteous. There were also clips from his old reviews making the rounds on the internet that looked very unfortunate out of context.
Yes, I cheated, and I'm okay with that.
Allegations from other people trickled in shortly afterward. One tweet from former Playboy model Pamela Horton claimed that Jared had met her at a gaming convention several years prior, and had immediately scoured the internet for naked images of her upon learning what she did for a living. He then reportedly showed these photos to other men while saying lewd comments that made everyone uncomfortable. Even though she had not personally witnessed this happening, Horton claimed that Jared was rude and cold to her for the rest of the event.
I'll never be
Yet
able to tell
somehow
them.
it was going to escalate even further from
We
here.
gotta save him.
You
We
see,
gotta get to the
crowd
end
who
and
just
save
wanted
him.
to
That's all
make
that
fun of
matters.
The Normal Boots member started to take the situation more seriously a couple of days later, when two Twitter users named Chai and Charlie posted statements, claiming that they had exchanged nudes with Jared when they were underage. A fact which they stated he had been fully aware of. According to them, they had been in regular communication with Jared for several months in 2016,
Okay, that's a
sending and
floor.
receiving
Oh my god.
messages and photos.
Okay.
And this fully tipped the situation over the edge.
Eat 6
In the
pieces
eyes
of the
the
same
public,
fruit in a row
Jared had
and a
already
heart
been
will
a
appear.
cheater,
Oh,
a liar,
word?
a manipulator, and a
I didn't know
pervert.
that.
But now he was something much, much worse. In just a single day, his YouTube channel lost over 100,000 subscribers, and that number doubled in a very short amount of time. That meant 20% of people who had ever followed him in the past decade went out of their way to actively go to his channel to unsubscribe, an insane metric that has never been matched before or since. Normal Boots also released a statement saying that they had received a private email containing these allegations back in April, and had made the mutual decision to part ways with their disgraced member. Yes, it's not an exaggeration to say that Pro Jared had suffered one of the most devastating downfalls that the creator had ever faced. This was a mid-sized influencer in the retro gaming niche, yet his name was being spread like these allegations were made against someone the size of Mr. Beast. You may have noticed that in this sea of tweets and accusations, the
You
only
can earn a
person that
melon
didn't
if you
respond
shoot
was
down all
Jared
4
himself.
with one
Aside
shot.
from his original divorce announcement that started this
Sick.
entire ordeal, he had remained completely silent as his career and reputation crumbled into
Hit the
pieces.
question mark
Then
block
on
and
May
cross the
17th,
line
nearly
to
a
begin
week
the
after
race.
the firestorm of
Oh,
allegations
okay.
involving minors had begun, he finally returned to Twitter with a new statement. A few years ago, Heidi asked me if we could be in an open polyamorous marriage. I recognize now that this request and my willingness to go along with it was an unhealthy attempt to solve deeper issues that had developed within our marriage. Heidi has taken several casual partners and has been in a more serious relationship with another partner since 2017.
Super
Heidi
Earth.
encouraged me to tell Holly that I was developing feelings for her. But when I did, things changed with Heidi. She became angry and vindictive, and did not want to see or speak with Holly anymore. She called me a cheater and claimed that I was destroying our marriage because of my affair, even though she continued to have other relationships with other partners. Even though I have been tempted to put information out online that shows my side of the story, I don't want to further stoke the fires of what should be a private matter between us.
Ugh, I don't like those worm
Unfortunately
things.
for Jared, this rang hollow for a number of reasons. While he did manage to somewhat refute Heidi's claim that he had cheated on her, at this point, people barely cared about that, as the much more damning allegations of sexting minors went entirely unaddressed.
Yeah, that's
His claim that he
the
had
minors
evidence that
thing is the only
proved
thing
his
that actually
innocence,
matters
but
here.
was
I mean, like, he
choosing to
cheated, okay,
withhold it so
whatever,
as
but
to not stoke the fires,
oh, we gotta fight a
only
boss.
served to further baffle onlookers. He basically said, "Yeah, I have proof I'm not
Oh,
a
we
pedo,
got
but
a
I'm not gonna
boss.
share it." The fires were already raging out of control, so people
I didn't
wondered
read what he had to
prove
say.
by offering proof of his innocence. Heidi posted a new thread in response later that same day, stating that she had never been comfortable with Jared and Holly's relationship, and it was the entire reason their open marriage didn't work. Well, in hindsight, at this point you can tell something was fishy with her stories, since she had pretty much pulled a lie by omission by not sharing the open relationship aspect of the story from the get-go. At that moment, people had such a pro-Jared hate boner, pun intended, that they would look past these discrepancies. Even after Jared's response, the internet at large fell pretty much unanimously on her side, and the disgraced YouTuber once again fell into silence, with nobody speaking up in his favor. And for a while, it looked like that's how things would remain. Pro Jared had been exposed as a bad person, and his punishment was the destruction of his career and complete disappearance, forever to remain a punchline to the world. But things began to change on May 20th, 2019, when Holly Conrad returned to Twitter after a brief stay in a mental hospital and wrote a lengthy thread detailing her side of events. While she started by
Is it the
reiterating
gold
Jared's
pot?
claim that Heidi had approved of their relationship, she was actually able to provide text screenshots to back it up. It was only when the two of them had expressed their feeling for one another that Heidi's
It's the
opinion
lips.
took a complete 180.
We gotta bust him in the mouth, chat.
Angry and vindictive, wanting her partner to never speak to Holly again. But by that point,
Turn
it was
around,
clear the
motherfucker.
marriage was over and Jared decided to separate rather than break things off with his new lover. Conrad
Give me a
described
kiss.
Heidi's behavior toward Jared as abusive, providing more screenshots of the spurned ex-lover threatening him over text. In addition, she posted a screenshot from Heidi's Facebook page from the day before Jared's first tweet in which she announced the divorce, conflicting with the pre-existing narrative that Jared had been the one to make the matter public. There were also additional screenshots showing Heidi gloating about how much attention the story was receiving. While Holly's thread did not single-handedly change the narrative around the situation, it certainly got people thinking about it in a new light. At the very least, it was clear that the community may have been hasty to believe Heidi's story at face value, even when she provided no evidence of her own. Even
How much
still,
could they
Jared's
take of the
continued
freezing
silence
wind?
on the matter meant
It's
that it
scary,
was
so
up
high
for
up.
other
They carefully
people to
cross the
craft
canyons and
narrative for
cliffs.
him. So he was doing himself no favors. Holly was also not exactly seen as a reliable source by the people who were already predisposed to hating her, a fact that was made even worse a month later when the beloved streamer Etika took his own life, and she decided to make a post comparing his plight to her own. Some people took it upon themselves to conduct their own independent
If I was not
investigations
watching,
in
would
order
you
to
stop
see
the
what
live
they could
stream?
dig up.
No,
One of
I
the
don't
most
think so.
popular was a video made by the YouTuber Bernie Vids and narrated by a teenage
It looks like a
Tom,
water
which
level.
broke down all the
No, I
pre-existing
wouldn't stop the
evidence
stream.
surrounding Jared's supposed
I've
infidelity.
got like
Most of it was information
2
Holly
hours
had
left
included in the
until
thread,
I have anything to
but they
do,
were
so
also able to track down legal filings
this is what I would be doing if I wasn't
verified
streaming.
Jared's telling of events. Other online
Actually, that's not true. I might run at the grocery store, but that might have happened anyway. Steer the Yoshi while swimming.
Wanting to help a friend get out of an abusive relationship. But as I've stated before, at this point, most were happy to move
But
on
yeah,
and
no, this is
forever
what I would be
remember
doing anyways,
Jared
playing
as a
Yoshi
man
Story
who
and
was
watching,
justifiably run out
I'd be
of
playing the
God.
game, watching
The
a
fact that
YouTube
nobody
video.
had been able to
Might as well be live.
adequately dispute the allegations of grooming minors certainly didn't help anything. This was the status quo for months as his YouTube channel remained a ghost town and his
What am I
subscriber
doing?
count continued to fall.
So the goal of the game, basically every time, is to collect this like ring of fruit that's around the screen. You have to fill it up.
For those of you who are
Fudge.
unaware, a few months ago, some individuals circulated serious accusations
And
against
you basically just go through the level and try to do that, but there's like secrets and stuff hidden in the levels. Like there's a white Yoshi, a black Yoshi, and I believe like a copper Yoshi.
Spoken up earlier was twofold. One, he had been consulting
I don't remember where they are or how to get them, but like I remember them being in the game.
Witnessing how his friends had been shouted
Maybe it's a
down by
purple
the mob
Yoshi.
for speaking up in his defense, he thought it would be best
There's
to
a
wait
white
until
shy guy
things
that
had
ow
cooled
fudge
down
can like
before
join
saying
your
his
group.
piece. Jumping in to give my own opinion here, I'll just flat out say that when you've been accused of cheating on your wife and messaging minors as a YouTuber, this is a terrible strategy. Especially in Jared's case, considering he said earlier that he had evidence that proved his innocence the entire time and he chose not to share it. Moving forward, Jared continues this video by admitting to exchanging nudes with fans on Tumblr, but that he had always made it clear that it was a space for consenting adults, and that he had never pressured anyone to do anything that they weren't comfortable with. And that included his wife, Heidi. Even so, he was able to acknowledge that there was an inappropriate power imbalance considering that the people he exchanged images with looked up to him, and he apologized on those grounds. The bulk of the rest of Jared's video was devoted to finally breaking down the allegations that the majority of people were most concerned about.
But yeah,
that
I'm just
being
collecting
his
fruit.
grooming of those underage. He began by pointing out that both Chai and Charlie had deleted their call-out tweets, and that Chai, who is a trans man, specifically had provided no evidence of their alleged interactions. Jared stated he had no memory of ever speaking with Chai and could not find any chat logs between them, making him doubtful that any part of the story was true considering the burden of proof lies with the accuser.
Yeah,
Jared
that's
also
true.
dug up a blog post written by Chai about a period in which he had experienced a traumatic brain injury, which caused him to suffer from memory loss and psychosis for 2 years. The canceled YouTuber pointed out that the time frame mentioned in this article matched up perfectly with the dates Chai had claimed to have been groomed, throwing this recollection of events into question.
There is a possibility to consider that the hospital stay and the memory loss isn't true. That it was made up to garner sympathy. And if that's the case, how can we trust Chai's story about me? And if the hospital stay and memory loss story is true, how can we trust Chai's story about me?
He next moved on to Charlie, the non-binary person who actually had been able to provide some evidence of being in contact with Jared. One of these text screenshots showed Charlie referring to themselves as a baby, which they cited as proof that Jared knew they were underage. The video game reviewer, however, fired back.
I call myself baby, bro.
I did ask their age, and they lied.
Oh,
they also
shit.
clearly knew then that they were doing something they know they shouldn't, and is doing something they know I'm not okay with. They had full access to the entire conversation and omitted to all of you that they lied to me, deceiving all of you.
On top of that, Jared also pointed out that nowhere in the screenshots provided by Charlie was there ever any evidence of him sending an NSFW image, which he argued made the claims that he had sent nudes to minors completely false. To be fair though, Charlie's screenshots did show messages that implied Jared had received nudes from them. Even if the YouTuber did believe that the person he was talking to was a legal adult, at the very least this is evidence of some extreme negligence on his part. I personally wouldn't send a picture of my wiener to someone unless I was 100% certain they were an adult. Jared continued poking holes in his accuser's stories by pointing out the fact that before going public, the first people Chai had reached out to with the allegations were the Game Grumps. This led them to believe that their primary concern had been destroying Jared's professional reputation while simultaneously getting an opportunity to talk with other YouTubers that they were fans of. He also pointed out that both Chai and Charlie appeared to be trying to capitalize on the situation, as they had tweeted out links to their Ko-Fi and PayPal accounts as things were heating up. Jared next moved on to the allegations made by Pamela Horan that he had shared naked modeling photos of her with other men at a gaming convention. According to him, what had actually happened was that he was looking up some of her cosplay photos due to an interest in the art form, and that this whole story had been misinterpreted by her after the fact. Jared ended his video
Little
by
green Yoshi
showing
is gonna
those who
save them.
jumped on the story
Okay.
without reaching out to him for comments. And one of the people he singles out may look familiar to you.
What was amazing was seeing the sheer amount of coverage on drama YouTube channels. Dozens of them, all weighing in from a supposed neutral stance. Not one of them tried to reach out to me. Not one of them tried to ask me,
We found him!
hey, is any of this true? What's your side of the story?
While I can sympathize with Jared's feeling that the coverage of him was unfair, I can't deny I'm a bit miffed by his comments here. He had ample opportunity to speak out in his own defense at any time, but his one public statement prior to making this video was about how he didn't want to share evidence, so as to not perpetuate the drama. Forgive me for assuming he wouldn't have been interested in talking to me about it. After this video went live, I even reached out to him to ask if he wanted to do an interview on my channel to clear his name, and he didn't respond.
I have to start all
Emboldening my
over.
view that he never wanted to talk
My
with anyone and
Yoshis.
just saw this as an easy way to frame himself a victim of the commentary community, even though
Bro,
we were
Jared
just going
stole
off
all
of
my
what the public statements were.
Yoshis.
Anyway, after his upload went live,
Why did he do that to me? Alright, I know where a I know where a white shy guy is in this level. You just have to get to like all the way at the end.
Those who stuck around
Oh, it's
and
apples this
listened
time.
to what he had
I
to
never
say
get apples.
largely seemed to respond positively.
I miss Pink Yoshi.
Pamela
Pink Yoshi's my
Horan spoke
favorite.
up that she had talked to Jared and cleared the air about what had happened. Not everyone was quite so pleased with the response though, such as when Keemstar tweeted at Jared saying that he had actually reached out to him for comments but never received a response. Soon after, Heidi returned to Twitter and once again accused Jared of lying about the nature of their relationship. She also speculated that he had scheduled the upload to release during a time when he knew she would be at a convention and thus wouldn't have the resources to respond right away. Charlie also posted a
Lucky
tweet
and
claiming
favorite
that
fruit
Jared
or
had threatened them
favorite fruit?
legally, but no lawyer wanted to take his case because it was too laughable. It's unclear when Charlie got that information, and it remains unsubstantiated. Yes, even though his name was still heavily tainted by everything that had happened, public perception of Pro Jared was slowly but steadily beginning to improve. By September, Holly's online clothing brand had started selling t-shirts reading "Cancelled," using Jared as the model, indicating their relationship survived the fallout. But Heidi was not finished just yet. On September 7th, she conducted a live stream on Twitch titled "Telling My Story," in order to once again reiterate
Didn't she
her
already
side
tell
of
her
events.
story?
Unlike Jared, this wasn't to provide new evidence to prove what she was saying to be true. Rather, it was just an opportunity for her to once again reiterate her accusations. Nothing Heidi said here was anything new, but she did at least make sure to acknowledge that she did not think her ex-husband was attracted to minors. Amusingly, people who watched the stream while it was live noticed that Jared was
Let's
hosting it on his
fucking
own Twitch
go!
channel. It's unclear if
I'm
this
going to
was
the
done
sauce.
intentionally or if it was simply a default setting that
Nom,
he
nom, nom,
forgot
nom,
to
nom,
turn
nom, nom,
on.
motherfucker.
All this left one question though. Jared's reputation had managed to be somewhat rehabilitated.
Therefore,
But what
Miss
about
Orbs.
his
Okay,
career?
yeah, I know.
Well, on November 30th, 2019, the Pro Jared channel received its first new upload in months, with the release of his review for Final Fantasy V. This upload currently sits at over 1 million views, and has an overwhelmingly positive comment section, proving that he still had a loyal audience willing to come back and give him a chance. In fact, following this, anytime he put out a full-quality Pro Jared review of an RPG, the views would skyrocket, meaning that the comeback video wasn't just bolstered by people who were morbidly curious. There's a popular narrative surrounding Pro Jared's story to this very day that Heidi's accusations permanently destroyed the channel, but if you look at the numbers from after his comeback, this doesn't seem to fully be the case. The problem is he stopped uploading the kinds of videos his
White
fans
shy
were
guy.
interested
The
in,
white shy guy
choosing
follows you
instead
around.
to
So when
mostly
he might
post
know a secret, but he
unscripted
won't
content
reveal it
and
unless you
live
get him out of
streams.
here.
In fact, he barely uploads to his YouTube channel at all these days. So with all of that out of the way, what happened to everyone who was caught up in this whirlwind? Well,
Come
Chai
on.
and Charlie have all but disappeared from the internet following Jared's expose. Heidi continues posting but keeps a low profile, really only using social media to show off the designs of her brand, Forest Girl Clothing. Holly also has a humbler web presence these days. Her YouTube channel, Owl Fashioned, barely receives
If I do that, doesn't it eventually, like,
and hasn't
no?
been updated in nearly a year. Her primary focus is her Etsy shop, We Crowing Hens, where she sells custom pins. She and Jared don't seem to be together anymore either. Holly's ex-husband Ross, on the other hand, has made it out the best of anyone involved in the drama by choosing to stay out of it entirely. He maintained his association with the Game Grumps and now has an animated show coming out with the highly successful Glitch Productions. And that brings us to Jared.
Oh, it
in
would
the
have helped
present
me
day.
get.
For the most part, he's managed to stay out of any more controversy, with the exception of when he hastily inserted himself into drama surrounding his friend the Completionist, while clearly not knowing the full story. This gave people a reason to go after him yet again during the crash out of yet another Normal Boots alum. Maybe he could have taken a lesson from Peanut Butter Gamer. Otherwise, Pro Jared mostly can be found streaming on Twitch or posting on sites like Twitter and Blue Sky. However, the way he chooses to use social media nowadays has caused some people to raise their eyebrows, as he is still regularly talking publicly about his sexual urges with his followers. F it, it's gooning hours! Tell her show me about whatever is getting you riled up tonight! From the looks of it, it seems like he hadn't learned anything at all about the dangers of a
Where do I
public
get the
figure
white shy
engaging
guy?
in sexual conversations with their fans. As if that weren't odd enough, in October of 2025, the now 40-year-old Jared made his first post on his OnlyFans account, where he charges $11.99 a month for lewd images. I didn't pay the fee, so I can't see what exactly he's sharing with his subscribers, but I can read you some of the captions that are publicly available. Are you snowed in and iced over? Would you Are you snowed in and iced over? Would some body heat help warm you up? I'm getting bored of work and really
This
needing
is so
a distraction.
cringe.
Then you walk in and lock your eyes into mine, which allows you to show you a distraction you so desperately crave. Have you been behaving yourself, or have you been
No.
very, very bad? How much
I
would you
ate
pay
it by
to make me drop
reflex.
this towel? I often wonder if the houses across the street can see me through my bedroom window. But then I ask myself if I even care, and I should just let them see. Do you like seeing?
No, hold on.
Granted, OnlyFans has a much stricter barrier to entry than Snapchat or Tumblr, so the danger of accidentally interacting with minors is significantly lower. But it doesn't change the fact that Jared seems to have slipped back into the behavior that got him into trouble in the first place. Most recently making a public thirst post about how he wants to be penetrated by a male video game character. Very cool. In conclusion, while looking back on the Pro Jared situation, I have mixed emotions. On one hand, his wife was not truthful about the circumstances of their divorce, which deserves scrutiny. While it was originally framed as a man leaving his wife in the dust for another married YouTuber, that just wasn't the case. It appears the couple had a lot of problems, which led to them opening up their relationship as a destructive fix. While Heidi had access to ample sexual partners, Jared seemed to only be able to use his hall pass to goon with strangers on Tumblr. Then shortly after he was actually able to find an interested woman, his wife pulled out of the arrangement, and as a result the doomed marriage was officially over. On the other hand, there were things that Pro Jared was rightfully scrutinized over. He was sexting random people he didn't know online without properly verifying their age, which on its own is a recipe for disaster. Speaking from a legal standpoint, just because you don't know their age doesn't make sending explicit content to a minor legal. Jared even mentioned in his response video that he was not asking for IDs to prove how old people were before engaging in this lewd behavior. I'm not sure how well the defense that a mentally unwell teenager lied to me would hold.
Alright. Ooh, that sounds
Hey,
interesting.
really quickly, I just want to mention that I have recently revamped my Patreon. I haven't really used Patreon in the last couple years, but I realized that if I want to be able to have the financial freedom to take on bigger or riskier artistic projects, it would be really good to ask for support on there. I wanted to make sure that by supporting me on Patreon, you're really
Tyler, you said you're not even an adult? Oh man. You need to get your parents' permission to watch this then. I say foul language.
So I'm going to be releasing exclusive monthly videos on my Patreon and for the members on this channel. So consider supporting the Patreon or becoming a member of the channel if you want to see exclusive, unfiltered videos from me, or if you want to have your name listed at the end of my videos. Supporting me and being able to have the financial freedom to take on more risky artistic endeavors really means the world to me. Thank you so much. Has this ever happened to you? You're a moderately successful drama YouTuber who wants to start a comedy career, but your YouTube drama career ends up crashing and burning because you falsely accuse another YouTuber of being a pedophile. You say that you think Sneeko shouldn't be banned from YouTube even after he sexually harassed a woman, and then you lose a debate about trans people to the conservative TikToker Christian Walker, and then your comedy career crashes and burns because Moist Critical reacts to your absolutely terrible comedy roast, which ends up getting 4 million views. So now you've failed at both YouTube drama and comedy, and now you're the laughing stock of pretty.
I think I'm gonna take a nap because I'm tired. So I might be back later. I don't know. We'll see. If not, I'll be back sometime tomorrow. Hope you guys have a good one. Thanks for watching. Always appreciate it. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Tell your kids.